Good evening. It's 6:30. Let's get started by standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I'd like to let everyone know that item 1, 465 Tilbury Lane has been withdrawn and will not be heard tonight. Item 5, 7200 Old Mill has been removed and will not be heard. And item 6, 4710 Avondale Terrace has been postponed. So if you're here for any of those, we're not going to be taking them up. Let's take attendance.
So noted.
Okay, I need a motion on the minutes of October 21st,
So
2025.
Support.
I have a motion and support to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. As a brief introduction, the Zoning Board of Appeals is a 7-member quasi-judicial body appointed by the Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees per the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. Matters pending before the Zoning Board of Appeals are decided on a case-by-case basis. Any appeal of a decision made by the Zoning Board of Appeals is subject to circuit court review. Each case will be called separately in the order shown on tonight's agenda. There will be an opportunity for public comment at one point during each case. All persons wishing to comment will be asked to provide their name and address at the podium. Address your comments to the board and not the applicant or other members of the public. Given the number of appeals tonight, please make your comments brief. Comments by the Neighborhood Association will be considered as part of the factual information presented to the board, but those comments are not the determining factor for approval or denial. Please confine comments to the specific request before the board. For a request to be successful, an affirmative vote of at least 4 members present is required. We hope this provides a better understanding of what you can expect at tonight's meeting. And so with that, we'll call the first item, which will now be item 2. Is the applicant ready? It's 3954 West Orchard Hill.
Okay.
So could you summarize for us what?
We already sent that in. We're looking at a driving range, we're looking at a beehive, and we're looking at a gazebo that was put on top of a deck. You guys came out numerous times, never said a dang thing about it, and then all of a sudden now it's an issue. You have inspectors that come onto the property to inspect things. You should know what you are doing. And it shouldn't take time over time over time again for you to come up with, oh, we're not going to allow this now. This all started out with me being called a racist. I don't care for it. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate that I had to fight 3.5 years to get a dog to stop coming after my property and attacking us on the property. But you're going to come after us for this driving range, a beehive that's in the corner that you barely can even see. The neighbor behind me doesn't care. See, there's that little tiny beehive. The beehives have the food inside the hive. The person next to me doesn't care. The person on the left did care, so I put it on the right side to make sure that they were satisfied. I did the driving range so that none of the balls, if I hit them, could deal with hitting a car, hitting a house, or anything like that. It's a temporary thing, so it goes up during the summer, comes down, hopefully. Right now it's down, so hopefully next year it goes up and it comes down just as easily. The pagoda, it's on my deck. It's not anywhere else on the land. It's on my deck, near my house, attached to my house. But we're here. And you guys get to tell me yes or no, may I have this? I wish that somebody would have said before I moved to Bloomfield that we're going to be on you like no tomorrow. We own your property. You don't own the property. We tell you where you can put something and where you cannot. It's a process I don't like. this process is unfair, and this process is ridiculous. But on the same hand, I do understand that if we have problems with our neighbors, it stops here. And that's the one benefit that I can see. That after today, these three things better be in my file and better be saying either I can have them or I cannot. So it does not become an issue anymore with the neighbor, one neighbor.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask the staff, you referred to a driving range, which you're talking about, it's kind of a net for
Yeah.
hitting golf balls.
The-
So that's
we-
not on the agenda.
But that was on the agenda. That is what I've been nailed for all of this. And that's what started all this, over a birdhouse, which was a lie. It's just people playing games. And I'm not saying that you're playing games, you guys are caught in the middle.
Okay, so what we've noticed is a request for a beehive and a gazebo. So those are the two items that we're considering tonight.
That's because you dropped the third.
Well, we're the
Before
zoning
this
board,
meeting.
so
Well, it's
that's
a-
an.
And you should be knowing about it.
It was determined that the sporting net was a temporary, it comes
Yeah.
up and down, and it's
Yeah.
seasonal, and it's not a permanent structure. Therefore, we determined, after talking to the ordinance division, that we didn't see this as an accessory structure such as these items before you.
Yeah, because it's, sure. Any questions from the board? I'd like to open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on this item? Any of these items? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring
Can
it
I
back.
say one more thing?
Hold on. Does anyone from the board have any other questions of the applicant? So you can say one more thing, just one.
Because of
One
the
thing.
structure of my property, if there were no trees, I wouldn't have the beehive. Because of where my property's at and the seclusion of the area, that's why I did it. If I was back-to-back with flat land, no way would I put a
Right.
beehive, because you have kids, you have people, and things like that. This is out of the way, and it's hidden. So that's why I did it. No other reason except for my mental and my physical issues. But I tried to take as much consideration as possible.
Thank you. All right, so if no one has any questions or any clarification?
I'll make a couple comments.
Okay.
So I read through your stuff. I've driven past your house before based on this application. We are appointed by the Township Board of Trustees. So each one of these people have different experiences. They're not the ones you're mad at. You can be mad at elected officials, which would be me.
I'm not mad at the elected officials. I'm mad at the neighbor that made the accusation.
So-
Just because they didn't like what they were seeing. And instead of, I think it would have been better the first time that a person from this city came on my property and saw the pagoda or the gazebo or whatever the heck you call it, away from the deck, since we were working on the deck, they should have said, "Oh, sir, by the way, that's not allowed," or "You have to go to the zoning board." Instead of just dealing with the deck, obviously you can't miss that. Obviously you can't miss the beehive. Obviously you can't miss the driving range. Come with your eyes open. That's how this would have been taken a lot easier. Instead of all these games being played, I spent months dealing with this. I didn't need the aggravation. All I needed to know was, hey, this isn't allowed, we got to take care of it. Now, the zoning board person, or this,
How about, since you already had your minute, can I do my part now? So I just want to make sure that you can be mad or frustrated in neighbor disputes. We're not trying to solve those here. These are accessory structures. So some of them want to make sure that they're permitted, make sure we put notices for your neighbors to understand there are improvements to their properties. And again, this isn't a board to limit you, it's a board to make sure it's done the right way, to keep your liability under control, as well as make sure we take care of the
I have
neighbor's property.
insurance
No,
for my
so-
liability.
He's got the floor.
So again, I can understand your frustration, I promise you I do, but at the same token, okay, we don't need to be confrontational. Our goal is to make sure that people's properties are
Then
preserved.
don't make this situation confrontational.
If
When
this,
we have issues in our city,
It's,
then they should be addressed.
So,
like
so,
at
so
Lou's
all,
Club.
this is
all,
for.
we're just here to consider the variance requests. There's two, one for a gazebo and
And when you
beehive.
have other issues
So-
going on in the city and we ignore all those,
But that-
you
but-
feel like you're being
So-
ignored.
So, I appreciate that, but our responsibility is for those two requests, and that's it. So, let's just limit the discussion to that. I think we're done. Let's get a motion. And we appreciate your comments, but that, our job is just for those two things. So do we have any questions or a motion? We have a beehive and a gazebo?
Okay, let's look at the
yeah, he
two
did.
items, because I was a little distracted. So
Okay.
I want to,
Okay.
again, kind of give myself some time to,
So the beehive is in the back corner there, it appears.
Yep,
Number 3.
yep.
What's number 2 in our folder here?
So that's the, we can go back up.
No, we're not doing that one?
That's a driving range, isn't it?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No.
No problem.
So back up, that's, right there is, see, there's the, you can see the gazebo,
which is attached to the deck.
yeah, attached to the deck,
Okay. And it's,
behind the house.
I'll make a motion if everybody's ready.
I think we're ready, Carol.
Okay. With respect to the property located at 3954 West Orchard Hill, I would first move to grant the permission request for the existing gazebo and the beehive because the applicant has demonstrated compliance with section 42-7.6 standards. With respect to the pergola, that's a structure that is routinely seen in our neighborhoods now. It does not have negative impacts on neighbors, and it's harmonious with the area. With respect to the beehive, again, this is something that, based upon the property and the unique character of it, and the fact that the neighbors do not object, it is also appropriate for the property.
One name.
With respect to dimensional variance, I would move to grant that because the applicant has demonstrated practical difficulty. Compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be burdensome, and there's no injustice to adjoining neighbors. There's some unique circumstances related to the property in terms of its location and being heavily wooded, and the properties behind, there's some distance between what's going on in his property and those properties, and it's not self-created. If approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 5 business days for the existing gazebo and beehive. And
That's already done. Yeah.
I am not going to add screening.
Support.
So I have a motion and support, so discussion, so I'd just like to make a note that we do have a letter from Sally Labaza. She has an objection to the beehive. She is not directly adjacent to the home, but she indicates in her comments that she's under the treatment of Dr. Alan Baptist of Henry Ford for venom therapy because of a allergy to bees, yellow jackets, and wasps. So I did. She lives, she lives on Spur Hill Drive. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that in the record.
Yeah,
so we
that's
know.
fine.
Okay.
I don't have that.
All right, any other comments or discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Your request is granted. Both your requests are granted. Good evening. We're calling the next item, item 3.
We just don't have these minutes to jump back.
So 5830 Snowshoe Circle. Is the applicant ready?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Vachi Minasian. I reside in 5830 Snowshoe Circle. I built a shed in my property without realizing that I needed a permit, and I didn't intend to do anything wrong. It's the far end, northwest side of the property. It's all the way in the end, attached to the pool house. I genuinely didn't know a permit was required for a shed of this size. It's 21 by 7. Now that I understand, I'm fully willing to apply for the proper permit and make sure everything complies with the regulations. And I also want to note that I have full privacy from my north side, 10 feet evergreens, too many, and from the west side, it's a new construction and they remove our trees without a permission. And we complained to the city. Alex from the landscaping department came and met with the builder, and they promised after the construction to put some trees. So I respectfully ask to be allowed to keep the shed while I apply for the proper permit and resolve everything according to the regulations.
I do want to make a comment about in the photographs, there is another shed, it's a blue shed.
That,
And my understanding from our ordinance division is that it's planning to be removed.
Yes, we
So I
have
wanna
to
make sure the board
remove,
was aware
yeah,
of that.
that small shed is 6x4, it doesn't, I mean, we have a lot of things to storage. We want to destroy that, garbage it. And it's next to that shed, actually, the shed that we built. It's 21x7.
But that'll be coming down,
Which one?
the first shed, the smaller one?
Yeah, it's removable.
Okay,
I mean,
very
it's
good.
very small and we want to remove it. It doesn't, it's all mouses inside and it's
Okay.
not helping me, so I made a, but my mistake was I didn't know that I needed a permit. I Googled
Okay,
it
we
actually.
understand. Any questions from the board? I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on this item? Step forward, give us your name and address. Yes, so you'll need to sit down for a little bit. Yeah, you can just sit down on the, no, sir, you can come up and make
No.
your comments. It's your turn to comment. Applicant, you have to sit down, sir. There you go. Just sit in the front row there, because you're gonna get back up. Okay, and then you have public comments.
I've got some pictures.
So
that
you
I'd
give us
like
your name and address, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you, members of the board. My name is Brian Foley. I live at 5821 Blandford Court. I need this picture up before I can start speaking.
The letter with, is that it?
I did, yes.
Is that the pictures you're showing?
One that's, yes. Again, I'm Brian Foley, 5821 Blandford Court. I'm representing myself as well as Dr. Stephen and Molly McClellan of 5800 Snowshoe Circle. They live immediately north of the property in question and filed the original complaint. They're currently overseas and asked me to represent them. While the variance describes a approximately 20 by 20 structure and gives the impression it's a mere shed, I'm not sure where these dimensions came from because I've personally measured the buildings from adjoining properties, and the new building is approximately 25 feet long, 5 feet deep, and 8 feet high. The structure is attached to a building that's approximately 36 feet long, 20 feet deep, with a roof peak of 12 feet. In total, that's just under 1,000 square feet. It has skylights, electrical, and air conditioning, so it's not a simple shed by any stretch of the imagination. And neither building has ever been inspected or approved by the Bloomfield Township because there was no permit pulled for either buildings, according to available records at the building department. There were 10 other permits pulled by the Manassians since 2019, but not one includes an accessory building of any kind. The addition in question was started when there was a big scraggly forest of trees obscuring everything from the neighbors. But before the appellants could finish their recent construction on this little shed, the house directly west at 5839 Blandford Court was sold, demolished, and the new owner, Jacob Raska, took all the existing and obscuring trees down with proper permitting, according to the building company, Sapphire. This is a view, the unacceptable mess of a view from my house looking at the appellant's so-called shed, which is actually a pool house and an accessory structure. Picture 2, please. Perhaps the appellants thought no one would notice their construction because of the woods once hiding it. Now it's an eyesore, not just for me, but for Jacob Raska and the McClellans, which are on both sides. Disregarding the issue of building without a permit and putting up 4 huge umbrellas to hide the work, I emphatically request, per the Township Regulations, Section 42.5-.1, that the entire building be obscured not only from my view, but also the McClellans and the Raskas. That will take emerald green arborvitae 12 feet high to completely obscure their view of the accessory structure. If you look at the right side of this picture, you can clearly see what the appellants have on their own property for their own privacy before the woods were removed. They're emerald green arborvitae at least 12 feet tall and likely cost a fortune. I'm requesting the same quality and density of trees to obscure my view and my neighbor's view also. It'll be expensive, no doubt, but that is what's required of your own ordinance. Anything less is a travesty of the permitting process, of which the appellants continued to build until the second stop work order was issued by Todd Baldwin of the building department. They have plenty of room to install the new tree, as you'll see in the next slide. The arborvitae will need to be planted at a 90-degree angle swath and staggered to obscure the view of all 3 homes. Picture 3, please. This is a view from the McClellans swimming pool to the north, and you can see the pool. The pool house accessory structure is barely obscured at all. They use this pool all summer long. They filed the initial the ZBA complaint and have had numerous discussions with Todd Baldwin. The McClellans have also written to you regarding tonight's meeting. Picture 4, please. Below is a close-up of the existing pool house and the new so-called shed, as well as a third-party standalone gray shed. A poured concrete walkway runs the entire perimeter of it all. You can see the downspout is not attached and the soffit wood is unpainted due to the second stop work order. In summary, I expect that you will grant the variance as requested and don't have a problem with that. What I will have a problem with is the ZBA not requiring the appellants to spend, I don't know, between $10,000 and $15,000 or whatever it costs to comply with the code, your code, requiring that the entire accessory structure in toto, not just the shed, be obscured from neighbors 365 days of the year. Anything less is contrary to your own rules. And I thank you for your consideration. If you have any questions, I have to ask.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that'd like to speak on this item? Wait, no, wait, hold on. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on this item? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. This,
Approximately 20 years. And I do want to, I can confirm that there was work done, a stop work order was placed from our ordinance division, and work did continue. So here we are today with what we have before you. And the applicant did supply a screening plan which indicated a 10-foot high arborvitae, but you've heard the public comment, so I will defer to the board.
so did you want to get up?
Yes, I will answer Mr. Bryan that his point, my
Well,
garage.
to me, the biggest thing is the screening. What's the screening? that
Okay,
you're gonna-
screening, it wasn't our problem.
No, no.
Screening, there
No, I'm
was,
saying for the shed. What screening are you going to put up for the shed?
for the privacy, you mean?
No, for our ordinance requires that the shed must be screened from public view. So I think you submitted a diagram or a screening plan. How tall are the trees going to be, or the arborvitae that you intend to plant to screen the shed?
Okay, we had the trees, we had the privacy to Mr. Bryan's house. We didn't destroy the trees without permission.
Yeah, but you can see the shed from your neighbor's property, and so you're. gonna be
Yeah, but
required-
I didn't put down that trees. This new construction that they started, that is complaining about that privacy, they put down the trees.
But you have to have the screening on your property. So you have to plant trees on your
It was
property.
in my property, that trees.
No, I know that, but you're requesting a shed. Our requirement is that the shed be screened from public view. So you're going to need to have screening.
If you come and destroy my trees, plus you leave the roots over there with a distance of 3-4 feet, how I'm gonna put it? And I complained to the city, they said, we can't do nothing about it. I said, how come if I go my neighbor's backyard and cut the tree? What do you mean you can't do nothing about it? Then they send us to landscape department, Alex, he came. We met with the builder. He said, well, we cut it. What do you mean you cut it?
Again,
That was a screening.
I can't help you with that dispute over the trees. I just need to know the height of the screening for the shed.
They promised that after the construction, they want to put trees. They will supply the trees. That's what they promised to Alex for the landscape department. Because they cut.
If we were to consider approving your shed, our ordinance requires that that shed be fully screened from public view. So I don't care about what's going on with
It
between.
was screened.
No, it wasn't screened. We're talking about arborvitae planted right next to your shed, around your shed to conceal it. That is what our ordinance requires. So we need you to focus in on that. Are you
Yes.
willing to do those plantings?
Of course. If he doesn't do it, I have to do
We
it.
have to do it.
No,
But,
No, it's not.
No, it's
You-
not.
you
Has
need to
nothing
do
to
it.
do with them.
Yeah,
okay,
it's your requirement on your property.
prior pictures, if you look, it was screened already.
You're
It was
not-
a screen.
you're
They
not-
cut the trees.
But it's not
You're
screened
not listening
today.
to me.
Today is not a screen,
Right,
but
and today it needs to be screened from public view, and you have to screen it on your
so
property.
if I screen it, if the neighbor come cut the tree, where are we playing? I have to screen it again, somebody has to stop them.
No, you'll be screening it on your property.
No one can come
It
against.
It was in my
My
property
property.
when they cut the
There's-
trees.
That is something entirely different than what I'm talking about, okay? That's a dispute you have with your neighbor that's not before us, okay? I'm looking, you have space between that shed and your property line to plant arborvitaes to screen that shed. That's what I'm talking about. Do you understand what I'm saying and what
No,
I
I
would
understand.
require
I
to consider
understand.
approving this? Okay.
Yes, and we didn't put that umbrellas to cover, to hide something. We just put that umbrellas because construction was going on.
Yeah, so,
And I have a younger daughter, she was swimming. I don't want
Yeah, so-
people, the Mexican
We
people
need a
do
privacy.
so
privacy.
those aren't relevant to our decision. What's relevant is the size of the screening. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
definitely, we will
12
put
feet.
the-
Can you
I
put
need
12
my
feet?
privacy before he needs his
Okay.
privacy, so I have to put trees regardless if he
Yeah.
doesn't put tree or
Yeah.
not.
To help the enforcement arm of the township, I'm gonna suggest 12 feet. Can you put 12-foot arborvitae to screen your shed?
Of course I can.
All right,
I
so-
put it on my north side.
That's a good
so I-
answer.
Yes.
That's a good answer. I would just stop there. And do we have a motion now?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
So, in regards to the appeal at 5830 Snowshoe Circle for the accessory structure, the shed, I move the request be approved as revised with 12-foot arborvitaes completely around that perimeter. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance of section 42-76 standards because the size of the accessory structure is compatible with adjoining properties based on the fact that a lot of people with pool houses or pool structures need this extra space. And then I'll go to the next one, which is your dimensional variance. So in regards to the appeal at 5830 Snowshoe Circle for the 2-foot encroachment into the 16-foot setback, so again, you went closer than you were supposed to on that, I move the variance be approved as amended. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome because the extra space that he needs for a pre-existing pool house, he needs the extra space. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by the reason of we are gonna be planting 12-foot arborvitaes completely surrounding the edge of your property, so none of your neighbors can see it. Unique circumstance of this property have been demonstrated given the fact that your pool house was already pre-existing. You added the one shed, the constructed shed, not the plastic shed that's gonna be removed. And this is not self-created because of the fact that that structure, the pool house, was already pre-existing. If this motion is approved, the application for all necessary permits will be made within
5 business
it's
days.
5 days, because it's a pre-existing thing, and all permits must be obtained prior to any additional work being done. And then you will be planting additional evergreen screenings, those shall be permitted, and they will be 12 feet upon plantings.
Support.
So,
Can you just specify that they have their evergreens, that they have their 12 months out of the year?
Absolutely, thank you very much, Donaldin.
I just
So
wanna make sure
we're
we're clear.
planting 12-foot evergreen-style plantings that will provide you with the privacy you want and the privacy your neighbor wants for 365 days of the year. Those will be planted on your side of that fence.
all right, so we have a motion and support. I'd just like to also make it clear, and it ought to be a condition that the smaller shed needs to come down. So that's gonna be
Yeah,
applied.
it's going to
Okay.
garbage
Nope.
anyway.
I'm sorry, Mr. Foley, the public comment is closed. All those who are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. Why don't we take a
Okay,
roll call?
Kolinsky,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Giagrande,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Rosati,
No.
Gilman.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1.
Congratulations.
All right. So calling the next item, item 43300 Dogwood Court.
Good evening. My name is Antonino Scavo. I'm the architect for the Mowats. Mr. and Mrs. Mowat are on their honeymoon, so they were not able to attend this evening. What they're looking for is to make some improvements to their property due to their commingled family now. They need a little bit more space, and in so doing, they're going to increase to the north, but they also need to increase towards Dogwood Court. We are asking for an 8-foot variance from the front yard.
Any questions? I'll open this to the public. Anyone in the public like to comment on this item? Bring it back to the board.
I can make a motion.
Yep.
With respect to the property located at 3300 Dogwood Court, I would move to approve the request for a dimensional variance for the 8-foot encroachment into the required 40-foot front yard setback because the applicant has demonstrated a practical difficulty. Specifically, the compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be difficult, and their unique circumstances of the property based upon the unique shape of the lot and the location of the existing home on the lot, which hinders any kind of addition. And this is not self-created. If approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you.
So items 5 and
We're up to
6
7.
are not up tonight, so we will go to item 7, which is 5255 Long Meadow.
Thank you. The request before you
Name and
is,
address?
I'm sorry, this address is 5255 Long Meadow, and the request before you is to have a hot tub installed in the backyard. I have pictures that show it in red in this picture. This is the picture of the hot tub, what it would look like. This is the location, you're seeing the proposed location. On both my south and my north side, there's evergreens already. You can see in the back of this picture, those are 15-foot tall evergreens. And on the other side, there's 12-foot tall evergreens blocking the view of each neighbor. I've had a discussion with each of my neighbors. They've seen the location, they both agree with it. They do have no complaint about it on each side of my property. It is 70 feet from the property line, about centered, so it's definitely clear of the offset of 16 feet. And I have also from my subdivision homeowner association, the approval today to show that it was approved by them.
Oh, thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Keep this for our record.
That's yours to keep.
So I'll open this to the public. Anyone would like to speak on this item? So I'll close the public hearing, bring it back for discussion.
I'd like to make a motion.
That'd be great, thank you.
So in regards to the appeal at 5255 Long Meadow Road, for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-76 standards because the use of this accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood, as many neighbors have these type of things in their backyard, as well as the fact they're going to be screening it and already have screening in place. If approved, the motion will include all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be made prior to installing.
Support.
And I'm not going to require additional evergreen screening because you already have shown that you have some in place that are mature. But if there is a problem, then we'll have to put some new ones in. Fair?
And support.
Perfect.
So I have a motion and multiple supports. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you very much.
So calling item 86800 Oak Hill.
Hi, Board. My name is Sabrina with Mosier Design, and I'm here on behalf of the homeowners at 6800 Oak Hills Drive. We are here today requesting a permission variance for a raised spa that is about 18 inches out of the ground. I know it says 2 feet, but I believe it's 18 inches out of the ground. It is on the side of the backyard, and what we also plan to do, it meets all of the requirements for the setback. And then it will be completely screened with 10-foot evergreens around the perimeter, and then right up against it on the side of the house is a 6-foot evergreen hedge. I would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Andrea, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
In the application, it discussed a built-in barbecue unit and gas fire pit.
As long as it's incorporated into the patio, we don't take those anymore.
Okay.
We used to, but sometimes I think Mosier reverts back to the
We
original.
always have the
That-
details.
The old
That
school,
kind of confused me.
which
Okay.
is good, so sorry about the confusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions? I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on this item? Close the public hearing and bring it back.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
That'd be great.
In
Thank you.
regard to the appeal at, hang on here, 6800 Oak Hills Drive for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because the use of the accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood as, structures like this is quite common. So, if approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits to be made within 1 year and, or within 1 year and obtained prior to installation. And you did mention that you have quite a good amount of evergreen planting, but evergreen planting shall be required to screen the spa from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the spa at the time of planting, which I'm quite confident your plan fits that.
Sure hope so.
Support.
I have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you.
Next item, item 9, 900 Timberlake.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I'm Orlando Juarez. I'm the owner of 900 Timberlake. We're here this evening seeking an appeal for a variance of 7 feet into my side lot line where we plan to put a sport court, a small pickleball court with a basketball goal next to it for a half-court basketball. You can see it here in the drawing behind you. So I think the township emailed and asked for some pictures of the lot. If you can go back a slide, the view facing to the rear, the court would be kind of just up picture of what you're seeing there. And that view to the east is standing on what roughly would be the court that's facing out towards Wind Lane, which is about 70 or 80 additional feet or 100 additional feet from there.
Any questions from the board?
I'm struggling with why this can't be shifted so you don't need a dimensional variance.
So we have right now we have the way that it's kind of planted and pitched, and I have Jason here who's done the kind of the backyard grading. As it encroaches, you'd be encroaching on one of the trees that's there, be hitting kind of running into the root structure of some of the trees there, especially that south tree or that lower tree that's next to the court. farther it goes over, the more it's going to run in, the cement and the compaction is going to disrupt some of the major mature trees there. We made every attempt when we redid and built this house last year not to take down any of the mature trees in the backyard. And that's one of the last lone remaining ones in near our home. We really wanted to retain it. So that's one item.
But if you shorten the court, you could pull it out.
If we shortened the court, it wouldn't be the size of a court that's intended to play the sport on. So neither a half court of basketball or the pickleball that would be played there would be able to fit into the space if it were a small sport.
We have this dispute all the time.
Yeah, so because you're 7 feet from the property line, if I may, Carol, now that noise is even closer to your neighbor. So some of those reasons for those 16 foot, which I know you had talked to some of your neighbors and you're doing the screening plan, it's still now that instead of having 16 feet for that noise to dissipate, now it's less. So we try to be very cognizant of that at the board, and I appreciate the tree, I really do.
I do have my neighbor here that who shares the property line that is closest to. So the neighbor here, Justin is happy to speak after I speak, but it's the property line that's depicted there on the west side of the property borders Mr. Osborne's property.
So my colleague has brought up a great point. What about changing make it perpendicular? So right now you have it that way, rotate it 90 degrees. That would save the trees. That would then allow it to not require dimensional variance.
Yeah,
and then that would make sure it didn't impact any of those root systems, which obviously you guys are.
We've talked about the pitch and doing that, and Jason can give a better description as that landscaper, but we've talked about the pitch when you put it in that direction. It creates kind of a high pitch in the middle of the yard with severe water runoff that'll now run off, impact the roots, run towards the pool, and do things back and guide water back towards our home. In this direction, all the natural water from that line runs to the south and to the west, where there is a large catch basin to catch all of the water. If you turn it and extend it farther into the center of the property, the pitch is very different, but I can let Jason speak to that as well.
So it runs to the west. Is that a civil engineer? Is Jason your civil engineer?
No, he's not, but he's my landscaper. When I approach the screen, I'll point to it.
Do you have a pointer?
Great.
We don't have a pointer that works on these screens.
There is a large catch basin.
I know, we're not tall enough, are we?
Yeah, but here, and then this general area right here to catch water, because all of it runs in this direction. If you turn that thing perpendicular, you create a pitch where all the water is going to run right into this
There we go.
pool right here above the pool.
Okay. We've got an electronic
But
pointer.
so those catch basins were already put there as part of a civil engineering plan for the existing home, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So then now we're adding the sports court, which now changes the permeable surface in the area. Will those have will they be able to handle the capacity?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jason Bryan, JCB Design and Build, 325 North Avenue, Mount Clemens. So we picked this spot because it's pretty much the high point, and like he was touching on the trees and whatnot, if we had to build that grade up to maintain the proper pitch and keep all the water congregated on our property, we would put so much dirt on those tree roots that there's not a really good chance of survival. And so you can see the bigger trees. Is this mic on?
Yeah.
Okay, so these larger trees, these are all large existing trees that were on the property that we worked very, very hard to maintain. So moving this over to the middle is now gonna build up grade on here, 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 and here, because right now this is the high point and all the water is transitioning down this direction. And this is where the catch basin is, right in this corner. So if we put it here, now we're gonna have to add drainage systems and things of that nature to manage the water on this side that's gonna be trapped. And then you're gonna have the high point that's gonna still have to push everything this direction.
You have a good answer. I don't know if I agree with it. It's a great answer, though. So I appreciate it. I really do.
We spent a lot of time talking about why it would go there and exactly kind of the shape that it would take. It's one of the reasons that I talked to my neighbor that's closest to that property line, Mr. Osborne, to see if he minded as well, too.
Any other questions from the board? I open this to the public. Anyone would like to speak on this item? You can come up and give us your name and address. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that is that's our protocol.
I'm not familiar with this property at all, but I'm a pickleball player, and I'm wondering about
So
the
what is
noise.
your name and address?
I'm sorry, Stephanie Rusekis, 3425 Berkshire. I'm wondering about the noise factor.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Anyone else would like to speak on this item?
Justin Osborne, 922 Timberlake Drive. Direct neighbor. I have no problem with this. I think they've done a great job with the yard. The house looks great. Won't bother us, so.
Thank you very much. I think it's in here. What's the size of the netting for the court?
The netting that goes across the court, or?
Do you have a netting around it?
I'm not planning on, I know that the description in the agenda items, it's something about netting or a
Yes.
fence that would go around it. That's not the intent to add a fence or net around it.
Okay.
So if somebody has an errant ball, my son or my daughter, I'll be chasing it down. It builds character.
That's good. Any other questions from the board? You're not happy with the answer? Because it's a good one?
It's a great answer, it
It's a
really
good
is.
answer.
Doesn't mean I have to like it, but it's a good answer.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't rate answers good too often, so that's amazing. So do we have a motion or further discussion or questions of the applicant? I mean, I think there's some balancing here. Seems like that's the best spot. There's not an objection. There does seem to be adequate screening. I particularly don't like it there, but I got an explanation as to why it's there, so.
I don't quite like it there myself.
Yeah.
Especially since it's also going to be used for pickleball. And I do know that the adjacent neighbor is okay with it. That helps. However, that neighbor could leave.
Did we
So-
answer the neighbor's question about the noise?
I think it was
Pick-
more a
pickleball is
generic
loud.
statement, yeah.
I mean, we already know that. So,
It's not gonna be lit, right?
It won't be lit, and this is for a family with young kids, and we're not gonna be out there playing with, an invited group of professionals playing them, regularly in the evenings or those kinds of things. This is for, family with 2 kids, family of 4.
and just as a discussion for the board, this is something that we are frequently encountering because people want a certain size sports court. And I understand with sports, you do
Well-
have to have a size.
Well, before I give my opinion on pickleball, because there's another item that has that issue that's more prominent, I'll just refrain from that because you're right, there's a larger, pickleball issue not only here but in many other communities. So, but are we ready for a motion
Ready.
here? Your questions? More facts? More discussion? Help you. What are you struggling with? Not the desired location, but, well, the explanation. So again,
Okay,
I think I captured it. Not what we would particularly like.
Well, but also the size. I mean,
And the
this
size,
is, we
but-
talk about this all the time, and we get the art, everybody comes in and says, oh, that's the size I need, and it ranges all over the place. They claim it's the size they need, so, and we know this is larger than it has to be to play these sports, because we've looked it up as a board. So, I struggle with these generally,
I
I
do
have
as
to
well.
tell you honestly. Huh?
I do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will make a motion, but I won't be happy about it. Okay? With
Well, not everybody is happy at a zoning board meeting. So,
With respect to the property located at 900 Timberlake Road, the request for a sports court 53 feet by 30 feet, I would move to approve the permission request because the applicant has demonstrated compliance with section 42-7.6 standards, specifically the structure, the use, and the type of thing is harmonious with the neighborhood it is found throughout the township, essentially. With respect to the request for a dimensional variance for the 7-foot encroachment into the 16-foot rear side setback, I would move to approve that because the applicant has demonstrated practical difficulty. The practical difficulty is the compliance with strict letter of the ordinance would be burdensome, and there are unique circumstances related to the property, specifically the shape of the property, the fact that it has 2 frontages, and the fact that it has existing storm areas that the topography will naturally drain to. And this is not self-created. If approved, application for all permits must be made within 7 days, within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. I'm not going to require any additional plantings, because you've got plantings along the side there. No illumination will be permitted on the sports court, and use of the sports court will be limited to daytime hours only. Support.
So I have a motion and support. Any discussion?
Just a little bit. Sorry.
That's okay. That's
Andrea?
why I ask.
Andrea, to confirm, as part of their plan, as part of their permitting process, they're required to put a drainage plan by a civil engineer for this, correct?
We don't necessarily require it's a civil engineer, but there has to be a drainage plan. And in my indication, it sounds like Mr. Jason, I'm sorry, I forget your last name. Brian, seems to be very well aware of the expectations of the township of how the drainage will be handled. We don't require a sealed engineering drawing. We require a drainage plan to be presented and then be reviewed by our building official to determine the efficiency of that drainage plan.
Okay, just because, since it's so close to property and you guys are using it as one of your practical difficulties, I would hate for water to go on your neighbor's property and take away that really good neighbor who's supportive and make him unhappy. So I want to make sure that's a requirement that you understand that. So thank you.
Totally understand.
That was quite a discussion on the motion. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
I'm
Oh,
opposed.
go ahead.
Roll call?
Yep.
Okay, Kalinsky,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Giagrande,
No.
Henry,
Yes.
Rosati,
Yes.
Gittleman.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1.
Thank you.
Congratulations, your request is granted. Calling the next item, item 10, 3497 Bennington Court.
Good evening, Board. My name is Joe Kubera. I live at 3497 Bennington Court. I was here last winter for a backyard ice rink. I met with you here. I was approved for a one-year trial basis. We put it in. We had a good season. We had good temperatures, and it was a success. So I'm back here to seek multi-year approval. I've also brought two of my adjacent neighbors. You already heard from Stephanie on the pickleball court. And then Mike Smith, who's my adjacent neighbor and also represents our HOA, Westchester Village. I do have approval from Westchester Village. I provided that and several letters of support. It's completely screened. I've got cedars all throughout my yard. It's dead center in my yard. It abides by all setbacks. My only difference from last year is I was 50 feet long, and this year I'd like to go to 60. I can't really go any wider because of my deck and my trees. I just thought it'd be nice to have another 10 feet.
That's a great summary, and so you're here. So you've proven yourself, so to speak, that you successfully had the court, didn't illuminate it.
No illumination, no, it's only daytime use.
Okay.
And I successfully taught my 3-year-olds how to skate, so
Okay.
that was great.
And so you're looking for a 5-year approval?
So
you don't have to keep coming back?
I was requesting 10,
10?
but,
You meant 5, though.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean.
Well, you're.
Multi-year,
Yes.
whatever the multi-year
You're a hockey
max.
player, you're going big, you're trying to get it.
Well, if I do 10, then my 4-year-old would be 14
Yeah.
in the last season. I don't think I'll be building a rink then. If I am, I'd be happy to come back and talk to you. But I will take what.
Well, it's a multi-year, I mean,
Yeah.
it's better than one.
Absolutely,
Yeah, so
absolutely, yeah.
It's okay.
That was the only piece of advice from others that have come forward is just try to get as much on the multi-year, and so I tried to stretch a little bit.
I don't know who you talk to, because that really, 10's pretty big. Any other questions?
I have a question for the applicant.
Sure.
So, when you removed the rink, I noticed that there was supposed to be like grass remediation and stuff like that, when that was removed. I see that on there. Did you have to do anything, like, did this permanently damage your grass where you had to do anything?
No, so my father did this for 15 years when I was growing up. What we've actually found is, I don't know why, but it actually protects the grass in the wintertime. It almost creates this greenhouse effect, and the grass is healthier, greener, and flatter. So no, my grass came back better than ever. Actually, this year, I overseeded in anticipation that I would have this on top of it to kind of compress those seeds. So I'm going to try to capitalize on that, whatever that greenhouse effect is on the grass, but actually it made it better. And I've seen that for years, yeah.
All those Scott's commercials are wrong, then you really need
Right.
an ice rink.
I put a
Cover your
tarp on
yard
my
in
grass for
plastic,
5
yeah.
minutes.
You
It
don't
just
need to
kills
fertilize.
it.
Okay, any other questions? I'll open this to the public. You'd like to comment on the ice rink? Okay, close, oh, I'm sorry. This is deposit, these are gonna be the endorsements. Okay. No, I'm sorry. This is fair, it's actually.
We're on a roll.
Yeah, yeah, and you took the time to come here, so you deserve to be heard.
Yeah, I'm Mike Smith from 3571 Berkshire Drive, co-chairman of the Architectural Control Committee of Westchester Village. And we had this application last year that the homeowners association approved. He has multiple letters from neighbors. And my house is directly behind his. My backyard backs up to his house. There were no issues last year with noise or water or anything as far as that was concerned. No complaints from any neighbors that I was aware of, or that made aware of. And we have no objection to them going ahead with a multi-year plan now, especially in view of the fact that there's 1 year behind us and no issues evolved.
Thanks very much for your feedback. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item? Then I'll close the public hearing and bring it back for a motion.
I'll make a okay.
No, you can.
Oh,
I'll just say, I think 5 years is good.
I think 5 years is good as
Me
well.
too.
Sounds good. Okay, I'll make a motion in regards to the appeal at 3497 Bennington Court for the accessory structure of a ice rink. I move that the request be approved as submitted based on the information presented. The applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because the accessory structure should not be objectionable to nearby residents by the reason that he has a full support of it. He's already proven himself over the year to be responsible and respectable to his neighbors as well as abiding by the ordinance. And with that, I say that if the application is approved, all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. The ice rink must be removed and grass restored by May 1st, 2025, and hopefully, as you heard.
2026, I guess.
Oh, 2026. Oh, my goodness. Okay, 2026. That'll be.
Annually on May 1st.
Okay, annually on May 1st, and hopefully, as you stated, that it'll have that greenhouse effect. I'm glad you have that. And approval is subject to renewal after 5 years.
Support.
I motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you know what, I did have one question, so I'll just come back and, if I'm doing it, 5 years would be the fall of 2030?
We'll flag it in our system,
Okay.
in our ordinance division,
Okay.
and I'm sure we'll follow up as part of our
Okay.
follow-up.
Sounds good, thanks, Board.
Yep, okay. Calling the next item, item 11, 1555 Lone Pine. Is the applicant ready?
Hi, everyone. My name is Owataha. I'm the owner of 1555 Lone Pine. I do have a few pictures, but I'm going to go through them in order. I'm here in regard that we have installed when we moved in June, July. The letter I received, it says it's 4 feet within the 16 feet setback. I'm not an expert, but to my knowledge, the area that we picked to add the generator with the help of the electrician that we've hired was already prepped with electric and gas by the previous owner. The area is showing the location of how far it is from the neighbors.
Kind of hard to see.
I know, so I'm gonna switch it to the second one. Yep. So that's where I circled is where is the current location of the generator and relates to the neighbors, and it's all wooded area in between, so it's fully screened. So if we keep moving, I'll walk through the pictures one at a time. Those 3 AC units were already there when we purchased the house, so that is the area that housed the generator right now. So this was already prepped by the previous owner. I'm sorry, I tried to do my best taking pictures when it was freezing cold. So now it shows the generator on the left side, and I don't think you can see the fence on the other side, but the next picture will show it. So it's fenced with a lot of trees between the neighbors and us, and the fence was already there from the previous owner as well. We purchased the house in January. The next picture shows that the fence goes throughout the whole entire left side of the house. So the generator is completely fenced on that side. The next picture will just show, the trees when it's not full time, so it's much better privacy. So again, the main reason we picked that location is because this is the right side of the house by the garages, and it already housed 4 large AC units, the electric panel and the gas meter, and the door to our house office. So there was no other space for us to include the generator, although it was much easier because we had to buy a crane to move it all the way to the backyard. Next picture will show the left side of the house by our indoor pool, which was another location we thought about, and it all has low windows all the way to the ground, which was not a good location. The picture after, hopefully I have them in order. Nope, sorry. It's the one with the rocks right here. So the second part of the left side of the house is unfortunately it's on a hill, and it's filled with rocks, which was also not a good place to build a foundation for the base of the generator. The other pictures are just the rest of the house showing, if you just want to go through them quick so they can see. The house has almost no walls. It's all windows and sliding doors, so it was very hard for us to figure out a location. So we went with the most place that made sense because it was already had the base, the gas, and the electric. And all of the old pool equipment were housed there. And when we moved in and we had to replace them, that space became empty, so we used it for the generator. So I understand it's 4 feet within the 16 feet setback. Again, I'm not the expert, but it's now placed horizontal to our building. So I don't know if switching the position to make it vertical, that will minimize the setback. If that's going to be considered a solution, that will be great. That's everything I have. Any questions? And one more thing. So we did have to install the generator quick. Both my husband and I work from home. So we couldn't move in July without having this. So it was we started in April and it ended in June. And the size of the generator was required based on the size of the house because it's 12,000 square feet. So we couldn't get something smaller.
Any other questions from the board? I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment on this item? I'll close the public hearing.
Did you say something about it could be rotated or not, or?
So I'm not an expert. I would have to talk to the electrician. But when I did the measurement to take pictures, I thought if, the location is still okay, if it's moved vertical to our building, that will reduce it by about 4 to 5 feet, and it's already within 4 feet. But again, I don't know if that is an option or if they need to do more of a cement foundation because the base was already there from the pool equipment.
Yeah. I think we can make a motion.
Yeah, I can make one.
Go, please do.
With respect to the property located at 1555 Lone Pine Road, I would move to approve the request for the dimensional variance, 4-foot encroachment into the required 16-foot setback and not immediately adjacent to the building because the applicant has demonstrated practical difficulty. Again, this parcel is unique in terms of its location and the change in topography. In addition, the structure itself has so much glass around the perimeter, and the generator cannot be located anywhere near those windows. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors, and it's not self-created. If approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 5 business days for the existing generator, and additional evergreen plantings shall be required to screen the generator from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the generator at the time of planting.
Support.
I have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is
Thank you so
granted.
much. Do they want to keep them? That's an extra copy. Oh, no, you're good?
So calling item 12, 5721 Kenmore Road.
Good evening. My name is Ahmed Zahar. We live in 5721 Kenmore. That's my son Mahdi with me. We're here to seek the approval for the pickleball court and half basketball court.
And do you have netting around this proposed? Do you have,
I'm gonna put, you mean around the screening?
no, netting? Do you have a net that you want around the court to catch the balls, or?
No, we're just
Okay.
gonna put like plant the arborvitae trees
Okay.
around it.
Okay.
Maybe like a U shape. I wanna keep it open next to the pool if it's possible, obviously. If you look at the other pictures, and you could see from above the other one, please. This one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you could see where, it's actually, the drawing is a little bit off. It's gonna be like next to it, more pushed to the right, so it will be like next to the pool. And
So they're gonna line up with each other?
in a way, yes.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna be 20 feet off the closest neighbor, and then obviously 70 feet on the other side, and then almost 80 feet on the other side, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'm gonna put the arborvitae trees. If possible, I'll put it in an L shape from the closest neighbor and above. But if you guys want me to close off the other side too, I will. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
But because there's so much space and plenty of trees, it feels like a
And what-
forest.
What's the height of the arborvitae you're proposing?
I mean, whatever, I don't care. Whatever you guys want.
Okay, that's a good
Save-
answer.
Save the budget. Be easy on the
Really
budget,
good
yeah. These kids used it all. He's going to law school, so please, he's breaking me already.
Okay, perfect. Just get ready to pay. Okay, open this to the public. Anyone want to comment on this item? So you have to come to the microphone, give us your name and address.
All right, so my name's Steve Babcock, address 5720 Kilbrennan. I'm the liaison of the neighborhood to the township. So my goal, my vision in doing this job is to settle any issues between neighbors, amongst neighbors. So I can be the bad guy. And we try and do this anonymously, so nobody knows what the other person thinks, all right?
Yeah, you said, you have a letter that says that.
Oh, you read that?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you, thanks.
I try to come prepared.
Very good. So, yes, I'm familiar with all the neighbors. I know all the neighbors. We're all on good terms. And I'm here to speak on those neighbors who do not want to speak tonight. Now, before I go any further, I'd rather that the other neighbors, any other neighbors here who want to speak? You do want to speak? Yes. Okay.
So I understand.
Is he
you're-
giving up his
So,
I will summarize after.
okay, so you're speaking for all the other neighbors that are not here?
Exactly.
Okay, so you have to give us your name and address
Yes,
now.
my name is Xavier Quinadon. I live at 5758 Raven Road, which is the house that would be most impacted by what is being asked with this request.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what'd you say your address was?
5758.
Raven, okay, I see it.
Yep.
We,
You're right behind him, yeah.
no, we appreciate the fact that the request has been made, but we have a lot of concerns about the request. We didn't know this was, I think I read in the zoning board documentation you sent yesterday, this was gonna be a basketball court. Now we hear that it's pickleball, which is, as we all know, is extremely loud. Our house is directly to the east of the property in question, which means the sound carries a lot in our direction. So does, the wind, obviously, which carries the sound. We also, so this is gonna be, this would be extremely detrimental to the fact that we like to enjoy, my wife and I are very big avid gardeners, particularly my wife, avid gardeners, and enjoy the backyard tremendously. And having pickleball sound, like everybody knows how loud that is gonna be extremely disruptive. You can see on the map that if the court, not that it would be 100% acceptable, but at least if the court was in the middle of his backyard, that would be one thing. But now there's the pool, which is already very noisy, and now after the pool, closer to our house yet, there is the pickleball court, 30 by 50, 1,500 square feet. 1,500 square feet of concrete, which would, by the way, as we've heard before from others, will prevent water drainage. And since the sound goes into our direction of our house, the smells of his fire pit go into the direction of our house, I can see how the water would go in the direction of our house, which already floods when there's heavy downpours. So if you're going to approve the request, I would suggest that at least, or ask that there would be drainage that takes the water away from our house and towards his house, towards his pool, because otherwise we know that there's going to be an issue with water in our backyard. But again, now there's the pool, then there's the pickleball court, and this is, if it were closer to his house, great. But everything that's been built is as far away from the house and as close as possible to our property. So there's a lot of things that are of concern to us. Again, the noise, the disruption, we don't know if planting arborvitaes require that they should be in the sun and be able to get water. So there's some really nice old, 100-year-old big trees that we've been told, oak trees, across that property that, we would hope would not be taken away, taken apart, because these are beautiful trees. But those arborvitaes would have to be able to live throughout the year. Now, again, the noise pollution, I would also want to know what hours of operations are allowed by the township and under what conditions. I assume there's no more lighting being added to the project, but please be aware that there's already very strong lights in that backyard that could illuminate a Walmart parking lot. I'm not kidding. So I don't know if the plan is to add lighting or not. I hope not, because that would mean more light. And if there were to be more lights, we would ask that they be directed towards the neighbor's house, not towards our house, like the current lights are.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you could finish your comments. We have another neighbor, okay?
All right, so this is why I wanted the other neighbors to go first, because I figured this would happen. So I can summarize. Very much what he said. It's very consistent. This is the third sports court in the neighborhood. Very consistently, the concerns are probably four. One, noise, obviously. Two, lighting. People complaining about not being able to have their windows open at night. Three, the runoff, and essentially that's it. Noise, lighting, and people would like it to be not played at night if possible. And that's essentially it. And that's why I asked that the others go first. But this is very consistent throughout the neighborhood. I've had 7 people talk to me, have their concerns about this particular sports court. So that's it.
Thanks very much.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening. My name is Val Murray. I live in the subdivision on Ballantrae Road. I've been there since the 80s. So we've seen a lot of changes in the subdivision. But one of the things that concerns me is I've had some residents reach out to me that couldn't be here tonight, as well as Steve. Steve lives behind me, so he's close to. We are within sound distance from the pickleball court. And I know that there are complaints with pickleball courts with the noise. So I have concerns about that. And this is the third court in less than 2 years that has gone in. We have a small subdivision. We have big yards. But the family that abuts the yard to the rear, those are much shallower yards. The other thing, I don't know if you're aware in our subdivision, but we have 2 ponds. And we have, the water table is high, and when the houses were built, most of ours back in the 50s, don't have basements. But I know the houses to the rear in the next subdivision is newer, and they probably have basements, which is a problem. The house next to us has a basement. They have a lot of water problems. They have standing water in their yard. They get a pond in their yard. And this court, in addition to the one that I know you reviewed recently but was temporarily tabled, these people live in between these 2 potential courts going in, and they already have water issues. They have special downspouts that go in the ground and out to the culverts in front. That is how we do our drainage. We have culverts. So there's concern about the number of them, the size, because the impervious soil, or the soil is not, taking in water, and the sheer number and the popularity of them. We have big yards. I mean, the potential for having a lot of them is a concern. So that's all.
Thanks very much. So, anyone else like to speak?
So, this is my husband. I also live at 5721 Kenmore Road. So the neighbors that had.
So it's your husband? So you're the applicant?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Stacy.
Yeah, but you're the applicant, so your husband's already had a chance to speak. If you could just be brief.
I can just be brief. So I feel like when it comes to the trees behind us, we've been very cordial to those neighbors. Before DTE wanted to cut down their trees, they asked if we cut down ours instead, which we did do. Far as the noise level, in order to save their trees for their gardening in their yard. Far as like the noise level.
So hold on a second. If you're gonna go on any longer than that, then your husband, has the response, and I'd rather just one of you do that. So either one of you can do it, but you'll have to pick.
Let me address,
Okay.
I think they misunderstood, or they assumed that we're putting concrete. So we're not putting concrete. We're putting gravel, compacted gravel, so this way absorbs the water. And then as far as the pickleball noise, we already play pickleball in a cement area over there. And then just me and my family. We're family of 7. He moved out already. He got married, and he's already in college in Ohio. My daughter's getting married next year, so there'll be 3 left. The youngest one, she's 13. I mean, she does other sports, horseback riding, whatever, so she's here for a few minutes. Sometimes we play. And then already we have the pool. So all we're doing is we're making the yard nice. We're putting, we're gonna put the trees around it. And those mats that they come in, they absorb the sound and they absorb the shock. They're easier on the joints and stuff like that. Plus, the neighbor over there, last time, I'm sorry, I know you don't want to hear this, but real quick, he complained about a noise. It's a loud bass coming. So I told him it's not me, it's the neighbor, It was the other neighbor, all the way on the other side. And you know what he did?
We're just talking about the sports.
He ignored my message, I know, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
he wanted to complain just about me.
Gotcha.
And then,
Okay.
if we have a bonfire, they called the fire department like 4 or 5 times. They never gave me a ticket. They actually were shaking their head like, come on, even the firefighter. But it's okay. I want to make them as happy as possible. I don't want to annoy anyone. We're just gonna play. It's not that serious. We're not gonna throw competition in there. They could join if they want. I mean, break that tension.
So the public hearing is
Looks like they
closed.
communicate very well. Okay.
And there's a drainage plan that's gonna be, the township engineers make sure that there's adequate drainage for the sports court. We'll just reinforce that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Well, there were some comments about lighting. Were you planning on illuminating this for the evening?
Already we have a light, by the way. There's another neighbor, her name is Lisa. She's right behind me. She's probably living on the address next to her. She knows her, he knows her. And then we had a light before, and then she asked me, the text messages are, she's like, could you please, that light is bright. I'm like, okay. I brought the electrician, at night, and he went up in the letter. I was with her on the phone until she approved it, and it was fine. That's how we deal with things.
So, all right, so.
Then you tell me,
Nope,
I will
nope.
do it, of course.
Can't
Don't.
talk from the
Yes.
back, can't talk from the back. So, we have as a requirement, for any sports court, you can only play during daylight hours and no lighting. So, do you have a light out there now for your driveway or something?
I have it above the pool, just like above the, where you see that red dot is. From before, yeah. There is a light, but just shines down right here, not on the court. I wouldn't put one on the court because I don't need to. We're not gonna play at night.
So,
what is it?
I think his answer was yes, I don't know.
all right, but there's a light on
Yeah.
the pool.
Right.
Is that a?
There cannot be any illumination on the sports court to allow evening play.
Yeah.
Is our traditional.
Yeah, we're not
Well,
gonna
and it
play.
sounds like, I don't know if we need to follow up with the neighborhood, is it? Sorry, yep, hold on. That there seems to be some enforcement issues in the neighborhood, that people are playing beyond daylight hours, and that they're, I don't know if it's with the other courts or whatever, but maybe we need to, follow up with the.
Pools.
Okay,
Noise at pools.
okay.
Well, as of right now, we have, on this property, we have no open enforcement issues, so.
Well, we don't restrict pool use to daylight hours, because
No.
there's lighting of pools. So that's just part of living in a residential subdivision. So, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you because the public. Okay, you can talk to the staff.
I have a solution.
All right,
The light's on the house though, correct?
that's great.
Yeah, but,
It's on the house shining towards the pool.
yeah, to the bottom. Yeah, like it's on top of that roof and to the bottom. But like I said, if I heard a complaint about it, like I did with the other neighbor, her neighbor, right away, I made sure. I brought the electrician, and then I was with her on the phone until she was satisfied. And again, they complained about a noise that was not from me, and they didn't even care.
Yeah.
To-
Any other questions from the board or the applicant?
And then,
Are
I'm
there any
sorry,
issues?
by the way, I'm sorry, that light, we agreed with the neighbor. It's only if we have like something, and then not till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock max.
I'm just concerned about the sports court, so.
Oh, yeah, no light
Okay,
on the
thank
sport
you.
court, I don't
Yeah.
care, yeah.
Any other questions from the board? So do we have a motion or comments about
I do have a question.
pickleball?
Sorry about that. It's the landscaping around it. You have arborvitaes that are going to be going around in that one area.
Yes, yes. If you guys want me, again, the question is, I'm gonna I was planning, can I explain there?
Sure.
We have a pointer. We have a pointer you can use up here, sir.
Oh, yeah.
That might be
Thank you.
better.
I was thinking to put like
Which,
like out, like right here and right here.
All right, you can use this.
Well, just put my finger here. Oh. I was thinking to put them this way, going this way, and then all the way here. But not this side. But if you want me to, I will. But because it's too far and there's a lot of trees.
I simply asked that question because not only does it screen from public view, but also gives the opportunity to be a buffer of noise.
Yeah, but again, whatever, but I'm
So
just
thank
saying
you.
there's a plenty of.
You have a landscape plan that clearly is, you're going to be planting some arborvitaes. Which is
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Thank you for answering that question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We ready for a motion? And in the motion, the staff has asked that we actually set the height of the arborvitae. Because sometimes it's unclear when we just say up to, or it has to exceed the height of the structure.
The structure's flat.
Well, but there's.
We want 2-inch arborvitae's planted all the way up.
I think.
But there's
I know what you
the
said.
4 feet are the
basketball.
cheapest.
Thank you, Brian.
I have one,
There are basketball poles that are not flat.
I have one more question, because you talked about it wasn't a concrete sports court, you're gonna do gravel, then you said something about panels or some
Yeah,
kind
they're
of.
like, they come in like.
Are they temporary?
They're like rubber, no, they click
Oh.
together.
They're
like
They
a
click
grid?
together.
Like a grid?
Yes, and
Okay.
they absorb the sound
Oh, yeah,
actually.
I'm
And
familiar
they
with
absorb like, they're easier for like the joints and stuff like that, so it works perfect that way. Because we play on the cement already, and that could be loud. You know what I mean?
Sound
If-
comes mostly from hitting the ball,
Well-
not from hitting the court.
Yeah, from the
It's the
The
paddle
racket.
onto the.
Paddle, yeah.
And so, yeah, that sound is 60 to 70 decibels, which is comparable to a washing machine or a vacuum cleaner. So it's the repetitive nature of the sound that I think has people concerned, but it is not, in and of itself as a sound, an intense sound. That's what I think the concern is. So it's this,
Yeah.
it's more the repetitive nature, because a basketball also makes a sound dribble, but there's interim when the ball's being passed or caught. And so I think it's the continuous back and forth of it that has people concerned.
It sounds
But
like you have a really nice, quiet neighborhood, lots of space. I mean, you're making an effort to
Yes.
screen it, to be quiet, to be courteous to your neighbors. I don't know what's going on with the lighting situation, but I mean, please work with your neighbors and, you know, tone down the
I'm
lighting.
telling you, I have the messages to show.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
From the height, I'm thinking between 6 and 8. Not only does it obscure sound, it also absorbs a lot of water. So again, the neighbors keep talking about this area has a high water table, worried about water runoff. This will add to the ability for that water to be soaked up, so that can help alleviate any issues. Besides the fact that our building department is gonna review the water runoff plan, and if need be, then require additional requirements, up to and including a civil engineer, to ensure that this is not gonna add to their water issues. So you
Perfect.
guys-
I think you can make the motion. You've got it teed up.
Thank you very much, Brian.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to help.
So for, in regards to the appeal at 5721 Kenmore Road for the accessory structure of the sports court, I move the request be approved as amended. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance for section 42-76 standards because the use of accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood as the people have stated, other people putting these in their backyard and having them as part of it. If approved, you must get all necessary permits, must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. You will have no illumination on the court. The court is only allowed to be played during daytime hours, meaning if you have light that happens to go off of your pool into this area, you can still not play at night. I am gonna require screening for 8-foot arborvitaes completely around it. Now, the front of your house screens it in the front, but the 3 sides, as you talked about, your L, we're gonna make you finish that L into a loop. Okay, so you're gonna make a U.
You.
Yes.
Can I?
For,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
sorry, so I'm hoping to get this across the finish line. I don't know if an interaction would help. So, 8-foot arborvitaes, so that none of your neighbors can see it. And as part of it, you're gonna ensure that the water runoff or stormwater management plan is up to our standards or exceeds our standards.
Yes, I'm with you. But,
If you try to amend this, that's up to you.
no, okay.
That's not a good idea. I
Okay.
advise against that.
Okay.
So we have a motion?
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
You got out of here. Okay. So calling the next item, 980 Timberlake Drive with a similar request.
A lot of sports court tonight. So 10 to win, I live at 980 Timberlake Drive. First time doing this, so bear with me. After watching Mike Johnson, Chuck Schumer for 42 days, I think I got this. So,
We hope not as long.
not 42 days. All right, so sports court, we're asking for approval. As you can see, we have a pretty large lot. The sports court is the same as all the other ones that have been presented, 50 by 30. And we are surrounded on all 3 sides. Yeah, there you go. So that's the front of the house, that's the back of the house. All 3 sides are surrounded by very large trees. And then we're gonna put it right behind the home so you can't even see it as you're approaching the house because it would be covered completely by the house. We have also, or I've also provided the plan to the HOA, and it's been approved as well. So that was in the attachment that was stamped on September 3rd. And we plan to abide by all the rules of daytime use. Primarily, probably just gonna play basketball, not pickleball, but to keep the noise level down to a minimum. And then that's really it. So thank you
very
for.
much. Any questions from the board?
I have a question. The very large trees, are those evergreens or are those deciduous trees?
Which trees?
The ones you mentioned that are on the back of the property is the
There
screen.
are many different trees, and you can show the picture. I know this is winter time, but there's a variety of trees and shrubs that are pretty much completely covering all three sides of the yard. So I don't know what the trees they are. They're pretty old trees and big trees.
But the majority are deciduous. They drop their leaves in the winter, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So if this were to happen, this needs to have evergreen trees that don't lose their leaves, so the screen is there 12 months out of the year.
If you look at the pictures from the prior, where all the trees or leaves are completely gone, it still covers the entire property on all sides. It's hard to explain it, but there's just a lot of, I guess, perimeter coverage across with our neighbors.
So are you saying that your neighbors can't see this at all?
Absolutely not.
Even during the winter,
can see
when
their
the leaves
house.
are falling off?
You can drive by it. I know the HOA, we've presented to them and they've came and.
You're not gonna have netting?
No netting, it's just
Yeah,
open.
so,
We don't
it's
require,
kinda like,
You can see right through the backyard.
right, well, this same point, I mean, so you've got the hoops, and so it's a little different situation if there isn't netting. So are you screening the hoops? Or are you
I don't know if we require
softening the
it.
noise?
If you
I
don't
think it was softening the noise, which we
Yeah.
just imposed on another
Yes,
candidate.
correct.
But each one is individual, and we look at these individually.
Yes, I'm just pointing that out, as was pointed out to me.
No,
that
and
we're
you helped
screening
point that out to me as well, so that's why
Okay.
I remembered it.
All right.
Why did you do 20 feet to the back?
We can do pretty much up to 60 feet. I think the ordinance or the requirement is 16 feet setback or something like that.
So as you've heard, some of the other things was always noise pollution, and obviously you're trying to be cognizant of it, and you even mentioned it as what you're doing. The more buffer you're able to give, because you have a very beautiful backyard, but your closest neighbor happens to have their house closest to that backyard lot line compared to other neighbors.
Sure.
If again, I know we're not looking at that as part of our permission, but if you were able to move it closer to your home, that provides more of a natural noise buffer to your neighbor, and it just continues to be a better neighbor. If you're able to do that, it makes it easier for us.
Absolutely. We're very flexible to move it closer to the home and away from the neighbors, for sure.
Any other questions? I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to speak on this item? Okay.
I guess I should ask my neighbors how they thought. New to the neighborhood.
Well, I think
So why don't
we're about to find
you
out.
could just sit down in the front row there if you'd like, and then you'll get to meet some of your neighbors tonight.
Beauty before age, Steve. My name is James Goldstein. I reside at 5235 Pond Valley, which is one of the adjacent properties. And if I heard right, the proposal is only for basketball, not pickleball.
No, it's a sports court. We're gonna primarily play basketball because that's what my kids play, but it's built as a sports court. So I can't promise that we will not play pickleball, but that's not the sport that we intend to play.
Well, I stand today to advocate against pickleball courts in residential areas due to the noise nuisance which imposes adverse impact on the peace, tranquility, property rights, and personal health of nearby neighbors. New York Times highlighted this problem in a June 2023 article entitled, "Pickleball Noise is Driving Everyone Nuts." Quote, "Pickleball has been a problem because the game is so loud, its small plastic ball constantly thwacking against paddles, the noise creating a nuisance in once tranquil neighborhoods. Acoustic specialists emphasize the noise is problematic when courts are too close to homes, and researchers document that nearby residents may develop health problems from the noise. Numerous pickleball noise lawsuits have been filed against towns around the country, arguing the following commonly, that the noise nuisance constitutes unreasonable interference with use and enjoyment of one's property, impacts quality of life, and is associated with health problems, leading to conditions including sleep disturbances and mental distress. Further, the noise interferes with property rights, diminishing property value and potentially resale opportunities. Such litigation has led numerous communities around the country to prohibit pickleball courts located too close to homes. Others have required extensive mitigation measures to minimize the noise nuisance. Specific, commonly recommended measures from experts include the following. First, setback restrictions are necessary. Expert acoustic consulting firms recommend extensive sound mitigation for courts within 150 feet and strongly discourage courts within 100 feet of residences. Second, noise abatement barriers should include soundproof fencing and tall vegetative buffers. Third, cushioned noise-reducing court surfaces should be employed rather than concrete or asphalt. Fourth, commercially available quieter paddles and foam balls should be mandatory. Of note, experts emphasize that even extensive implementation of these noise reduction measures are incomplete and insufficient to reduce the noise. In summary, homeowners purchased in Lone Pine Estates based upon its beauty, privacy, and very quiet ambiance. Pickleball court noise is a nuisance that adversely affects property rights and may exert deleterious effects on physical and mental health. The Bloomfield Township Noise Ordinance states, quote, "It is unlawful to make noise that annoys, disturbs, injures, or endangers the comfort, repose, health, peace, or safety of others." Therefore, by logical extension, pickleball courts should be prohibited adjacent to residential areas, thereby protecting the property rights and health of its homeowners. If, despite these compelling considerations against pickleball courts, should the proposed sports court be approved, it should be predicated on mandatory implementation of the full range of established noise mitigation measures. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else like to speak?
My name is Steve Gunther. I reside at 5250 Deepwood Road, the property immediately behind the proposed court. My wife and I have lived there for more than 40 years, enjoying the peace and tranquility that attracted us to this neighborhood in the first place. I agree with all Dr. Goldstein's previous comments and second them. I have personal reasons to object to this because my wife now has dementia. Sudden or loud noises make her confused, anxious, and agitated. The few peaceful years we have left, we reside in our backyard. Our patio is less than 30 feet from the lot line and less than 50 feet from the proposed court. I just think this is unnecessary. There are public pickleball courts down Corton Road, 5 minutes away. Why should our peace and tranquility be disturbed by this court? I will add also, there was a mention about water damage. 2 years ago, our basement flooded. We had to have the entire basement trenched out at great expense. The pickleball court will be within 20 feet of our septic field. I'm concerned about, there's not been any civil engineering assessment. I don't know, the land does slope towards our house. There's insufficient screening there now. What screening is there? We planted 40 years ago when we moved there. It's a mixture of deciduous trees and some evergreens. So I strongly wish that this not go forward. Thank you for your consideration.
Hi, good evening. My name is David Jacobson. I live at 5255 Pond Valley, which would be the house to the west. possibly, of the home with the pickleball court. In full transparency, I am a board member of the Lone Pine Road Estate Improvement Association, but I am not here on behalf of the association. I'm just here on behalf of, being a neighbor. I don't disagree with everything that Jim said and the other neighbor as well. I play pickleball. I love playing pickleball. I love playing tennis. At one point in time, did consider putting a pickleball court on my lot, and then opted not to. Our lots are all big lots. I think that the board needs to maybe consider really where they want this to go. I mean, in one night, there's 3 pickleball courts, and I think that if you guys don't start thinking about how, a consistency in doing this, we're all gonna wake up in 5 years and every other home, because of the size of our lots, will have a sports court or a pickleball court. It's a great sport, but I love playing it. I don't like watching it on television, and I don't like listening to it if I'm not playing it. All that being said, as seen tonight, you most likely will approve this, and I guess I just have to, we all have to deal with that, and that, so be it. What I will say is specific to this applicant, I feel as though that the drawing that was submitted really doesn't show any attention to any sort of screening. You can see in the winter months, you can see from my lot into the other lot. There's not really trees, I call it, they're overgrown weeds, so to speak, they're just there and it's thick, and then in the winter they're down, so you can see it. So I would ask that you do consider the arbs on 3 sides of the pickleball court, obviously not the 4th, I guess, because that's the side that faces his home. And, consider, I think I was here a month or so ago, and you guys had talked about like acoustic panels possibly. You'd mentioned a lot of different things, which, again, it doesn't seem to be consistent from home to home to home, and I think you might want to try to find some consistency with that. So I ask that you do consider 3 sides of 8-foot, 10-foot arbs, whatever you guys want to suggest. And finally, for some reason, in the sports court is 70 feet on one side and 105 feet on the other side. I don't know if you can put up the one drawing that shows where it's located on the lot. Yeah, I'd ask that should be centered more in the lot. So move it over 20 feet or whatever it is, so that I'm not sure why it would be 70 feet on one side and 105 on the other. I would ask that you just put it in the middle. And I think, as it was expressed earlier, maybe you move it forward and closer to the home so that it helps the neighbor directly behind, in the event you approve it, although there seems to be a medical condition which has not been presented previously at any of your approvals. So other than that, again, it's a great sport, just nobody likes to listen to it. So, thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else like to speak on this? So I'll close public hearing, let the applicant respond to the comments.
I don't have any comments other than we're willing to accommodate to the extent that we can, from a noise perspective. I think we've heard this lot is probably the most protected of all the lots that I've seen, because it's very protected. Also, again, you have to see the lot, but if you, maybe a technicality you can see through during the winter time, we don't plan to play in 2-degree weather either during the winter, so it's a summer thing for us. So it would be very lush and protected. I do like the idea of moving it. We have a lot of room there. We can move up to 80 feet towards the house because our lot is pretty large. So I like the idea of, I guess, centering it, which is fine. I have no problem doing that. This is just sort of a, we were trying to stay away from the view from the other side of the road, so that way it's not viewable. But this side is totally blocked. That's why we're kind of shifting it to the west side. But But I don't know how to respond to the dementia. If that is a serious condition that affects this, I would personally be willing to withdraw it. But I based on everything I've seen, we're going to be just leisure enjoyment. And we are very far. If we move that back from the back, the other neighbor there, I think right now we're actually 20 feet, and then there's another 15 feet into their lawn. So there's actually a big separation already. We can move it another 20 feet and make it 60 feet away. I think hopefully that helps.
I think moving it would be a good thing.
I think that's trying to be a good neighbor and listening to their worries. I have a couple questions, if you don't mind, Mr.
Go right
Henry.
ahead.
Do you have a septic field?
We do, yep.
Do you know where it is?
Yep, it's up to the right, so there's a drawing, we have a septic engineer that has a drawing where it's basically, if there's a pointer, I can show you exactly where it is. Because we moved in and we had to get a septic maintenance. Essentially, if you look at, this is our driveway here to the side garage. The septic essentially starts at this point and goes directly vertical out this way and out to a rectangular area over here. So by rule, you have to stay 15 feet away from the septic line around the perimeter. So this spot here, which is the very edge of that line, is 25 feet from the perimeter of the septic.
And so the reason I ask is if some of the neighbors were trying to accommodate that, I don't want to have you say, I'll move it here, and then it creates another problem where you then have to come back because we made you, be able to work in this box.
Yeah,
Now,
so-
sorry.
You see that's why it was on the west side, because I was trying to stay away from the septic, I guess, perimeter.
Yes.
So we can move it 10 feet over to the right side, so then it would be 80 and 95, which would be the closest that we can get to the septic.
Yeah, so that would be your practical difficulty of why we're putting in that spot. So that makes sense to me, as well as the fact that we're not actually voting on a dimensional variance of where you're putting it. It's a permission request. But as you move it, it then makes sure that the neighbors have less of a concern with it. So I think if we can move it from 70 feet to 80 feet, that is helpful. And then that 20-foot mark, do you know how far you have from room-wise to be able to move that down from 20 feet from your property line? How much further can you move it closer to your home?
Up to 40 feet.
40
Let's
feet
go.
off the property line?
40 feet from
From the home.
From the home to give it another 25 feet. So I guess,
It says 20 now. Would you make it 40 feet, is that what you're saying?
no, I can move it easily 20 feet in closer, or up to 40 feet closer.
Can you also turn it so it's parallel to the house?
We can.
Because that even takes it
I
further away
didn't know how
from
to
the
do
back.
PowerPoint to where it sort of lines up, but yeah.
Perhaps it would be of
Redrawing
interest to the
everything.
board for the applicant to maybe come back with a more
just gonna
secure
say.
design. It's just a suggestion.
Right,
No, we can
based
move it.
upon what some of your neighbors have said, and based on that, now we're kind of negotiating something that isn't what's presented.
I think this is what's presented. I'm not clear on.
Well, we're moving, it's fairly significant change in location potentially.
I'm not sure, I'm just suggesting if we need to move it, I'm willing to move it. I'm not sure why we're moving it. Based on what I've heard so far, I'm willing to move it closer to my home to the extent that we need to accommodate the neighbors.
He's trying to, yeah. I'm willing to make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and do that? I think you know what to do.
We're gonna find out.
This is what you're trained for, yeah.
Yeah, all the classes. Just bear with me for 1 second, please. So,
And thank you for your accommodation.
yes, I think that's the reason I'm making this motion, is because I heard the neighbors, I appreciate them coming out and taking the time, and I appreciate you listening and trying to make accommodations for everybody's types of needs, right? So, in regards to the appeal at 980 Timberlake Road for the accessory structure sports court, I move the request be approved as amended. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance of section 42-76 standards because the use of the accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood. So, We are going to allow the 50 by 30 sports court. It will be a minimum of 40 feet from the northern property line. Minimum 40 feet from the northern property line, a minimum of 80 feet to the western property line. If you can go further away from that northern property line, that's even better. But a minimum of 40 feet from the property line, which gives more than a 60-foot buffer to your neighbor. And again, now an additional 80-foot buffer to your other neighbor. You will be required to have 8-foot evergreens or evergreen-style plantings in a U shape around that. Reason for that is, even if there's deciduous or they have plantings on their side, they will not be able to see it. So those are the amendments I'm making to your application. If this is approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. This will be only used during limitation of daytime hours, and no illumination on the sports court will be provided.
Support.
I have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is modified, is granted. Calling next item, item 14, 2870 Meadowwood Lane.
You got this.
Hello, good evening, zoning board. My name is Namita Prasad, and I'm here for 2870 Meadowwood Lane, and I'm going to put my glasses on. We're seeking approval for a dimensional variance for a deck that extends 12 feet into the required 16-foot side yard setback and 5 feet into the rear 35 rear foot setback. So just to explain, when we bought the house, the deck was in a debilitating condition. It was a safety hazard. There were boards missing. It was not on code, and we have a pool. So we wanted to redo the deck. We have a 1-year-old at home and have everything to code. So when we submitted the plans, that's when we realized that there was a variance. And the reason why there's a variance is because the concrete and the deck, when it was built originally, because it's kind of built on pretty much substantially on the old structure. So just for the concrete and the deck to match, we need this space. We have talked to our neighbors. We have a letter that we submitted from Dr. Tejas to the right, who has an objection. We also have a letter, a signature from all our neighbors around, and we had a homeowners association lady here to support us, but she had to leave about 5 minutes ago, Anna. She said, I have to go now. So she was here from the homeowners association saying that
Apologize for our slow meeting.
we just should have gone for a pickleball court today, too. So the homeowners association is okay, all our neighbors are okay, and we'd be grateful if you're all okay.
We'll take any questions if you have any.
Questions from the board?
So are you replacing the deck at the same footprint?
Yes,
that's
substantially the
original?
same thing, yes.
And just for the board, I did drive by it and walked your property today and understood where it was. There's substantial screening already in place, and you can see where you cut it off and just left the original foundation for us to see, which I appreciate, so I can understand the need and why you're asking for it.
Thank you, Mr. Kolinsky, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So open this to the public. Anyone like to, excuse me, comment on this item? Everyone's shaking their heads, okay. I'll close the public hearing. Bring it back for discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
For dimensional variance in regards to the appeal at 2870 Meadowwood Lane for a proposed deck encroaching 12 feet into the required 16-foot and 5 feet into the required 35-foot rear yard. I move that the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome. Because to prevent this would prevent reasonable use of the property. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors because, for one, she does have the support of the adjoining neighbors as well as the association. And it's actually just a replacement pretty much of the previous deck's footprint. Unique circumstances with the property, again, of the existing floor plan has some limitations to it, and because of that, it is not self-created. If approved, the motion also includes application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any opposed?
Sorry. nervous. Thank you for
That's
not
all right.
opposing, I guess.
You did a great job and you're excited, so
Thank you.
have a good evening.
Thank you. And many thanks to our contractor who was here in case you had questions.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
May I say something?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm Matt, I'm a retired firefighter paramedic. I was in the field for 25 years. I'm a licensed builder and I own Oakland Restoration and Remodeling. Just something to throw out here. This deck was just an absolute tragedy, not even close to the codes. No alarms, no gates, everything like that. Just to let you guys know, unfortunately, I've gone on these instances where they have not turned out well. Personally affected me, and I've unfortunately, 3 or 4 children through my career. There's a lot of these circumstances, and I know you guys are dealing with zoning, but you might want to kind of tap the ear of the building department, ordinance enforcement, or anything like that.
That's us.
Just to walk around and to look for these gates are open or not done correctly, because this was a nightmare waiting to happen. So just some food for thought. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback. Calling item 15, 6692 Vashon Court.
My name is Robert Clark. I'm with CBI Design Professionals. I'm the architect for this particular project. The owner is here this evening as well. We are asking for approval of a variance of approximately 10 inches. I believe it's listed as 12 or is a foot on the application. Due to an existing non-conforming condition on the current corner of the garage right at the moment. This variance request goes where the little highlighted area is that was just there, goes from approximately 10 inches to 0, going across the front of the house. We're adding to the second or over top of the garage here, creating a second floor over top of the garage, which is the reason for it going straight up in that area. Probably easier for me to answer questions than it is for me to talk for much longer, so.
Any question? I think this is one of the smallest variances.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Try to
okay,
keep
so
them
open this to
small.
the public. Close the public hearing, and who wants to make the historic
I'll
motion?
take motion.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Everyone's fighting for that.
The easy one.
History.
In regards to the appeal at 2870 Meadowbrook Lane for the variance on the setback, I move the variance be approved as requested based on information presented. The applicant did demonstrate all the standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome because of the fact that we have a non-conforming setback or house that encroaches on the setback, and it's a very small need to add 10 inches or so into the setback. There's no adjustments to the adjoining neighbors by reason of the fact that they'll probably never even read this in real life when it's built because it's so small. Unique circumstances with the property have been demonstrated given the fact that this is an existing condition and this is not self-created.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Wait.
We gotta
hang
add one
on.
more thing.
I know I started early.
If approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation.
Now support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations again. Your request,
I was excited, Scott,
as
sorry.
fully,
Like
Just
I was
excited.
the other, yeah.
fully motioned is granted. Calling the next item, item 16, 3668 Middlebury.
Good evening. Brian Nieper, architect. Here on Middlebury, we're proposing a renovation addition to an existing non-conforming structure. The existing house projects roughly a foot into the front yard setback. There's also an existing cantilevered covered entry at the porch. We're proposing a 5-foot cover at the front porch. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Any questions of the board? I'll open this to the public. Anyone like to comment? Well, give your name and address.
I'm a neighbor.
So you need to come up. We do have some decorum.
My name is Nancy West. I live in Middlebury Lane, actually, on 366
72, was the next door, north side. I'm happy they bought a house, whatever who's bought it, and because the house has been vacant for so long. My question is the garage is going to be the same place where they are now? The garage, are they going to be the same place?
So you direct your comments to us? And
Yes,
then he'll answer.
yeah, sort of it like that.
I read that a long time ago. It seems like so long ago, but yeah,
Okay.
you direct your comments to us.
Yes.
Okay, so any other questions you have? that you want us
No, that's it. They're just happy.
Whether the garage will be in the same
Is the garage
location.
is going to stay the same, same location? That's what my question.
Okay.
Okay, that's
We'll
it.
get that answered for you. All right, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? So I'll close public hearing. So you can now answer, Brian.
Yeah, the garage is in the same location. Currently, it's a front entry garage. We're turning it into a side entry.
Okay.
Do you know what that means? Right,
Right.
you go like this, yeah.
So it's in the same spot, but
I understand that, so that means the car is going to go sideways, the garage is going to facing, the door facing the house.
no.
Correct.
We're ready for a motion. Any other questions?
Is that the only way they can do it, or they can keep it the same way? Because that, because the bedroom's right next to the garage.
So I typically don't let somebody speak from their seat, but, so no, hold on, you're done. So maybe you could just address that, Brian, as to why you need to have that design.
I think it's an advantage to the neighborhood to have the garage doors not facing the street front. I think it's just more aesthetically appealing.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
Is this a new construction or is this considered a remodel?
It's a heavy renovation with additions.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there anything that you can do to minimize the impact to the neighbor?
I feel that there's a good buffer there. The driveway's not going to be right up against the neighbor's property line. So I think there's going to be some green space between the driveway and the neighbor's yard, so.
That greenway, are there arborvitae's there
Yeah,
that would block the
correct.
view of the
we haven't-
garage door that's looking at the home?
And we haven't
We're not talking
proposed
about the garage.
any
We're only
landscaping.
talking about the porch.
Yeah, so it's not in our purview anyways.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while we feel for her
I'll
and
take
her
that
issue,
back.
we're talking about just that porch area.
Correct.
Thank you, Scott.
So now can we have a motion?
Okay. With respect to the property located at 3668 Middlebury Lane, I would move to approve the request for a dimensional variance to allow the porch addition to encroach 6 feet into the required 40-foot front yard setback, because the applicant has demonstrated compliance with, has demonstrated a practical difficulty. This is a long night for me. It's like nothing wants to come out of my mouth. Okay, so.
We believe in you.
The
You're doing a great job.
compliance with the ordinance would be difficult due to the fact that the home is already existing and the footprint is there. There'll be no injustice to the adjoining neighbors. They're doing a home remodel addition that will improve the neighborhood as a whole. And those, the location of the house and the reuse and repurposing of that house is a unique circumstance, and it's not self-created. If approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year. All permits must be obtained prior to installation.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you.
It just wanted to be a neighbor, you wouldn't want it bedroom.
So we.
You should go outside and talk to him
Yeah.
about that
Yeah.
and see if you
We-
two can come up with an
we-
idea.
We weren't deciding anything that had to do with the garage. Yep.
I understand, but this is a whole building.
Yeah, but we weren't deciding anything about the garage tonight. So item 17, 1685 Keller Lane.
Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor Calero with Skyview Detroit, the contractor on this project here. We're seeking approval for permission request for 2 items on this property. The clients have a very old deck, which we are rebuilding. That's not for this permission request, but there is a gazebo that's going on that new deck that is detached. So we are going to be rebuilding that gazebo in the exact same footprint and size that was there existing. And it's currently being torn down. And we have an approved building permit for that deck currently. And then we're also asking for permission to build a freestanding pergola, 13 feet by 11 feet. That's going to be just off the home next to the pool. I believe that's going to be about 28 feet from the neighboring property as well.
So can we go back to that schematic that had the pergola is top left and the gazebo is, we've just got like a flat view of it there on the bottom?
Yeah, if you go to the next image, that's the existing.
Is it like that, what's good,
It's what's there now, so if you go to
just
the
being rebuilt.
image of the existing deck and yeah,
Yeah.
so that's all torn down currently.
Okay.
We're rebuilding that gazebo exactly like that.
I see.
Just a new deck. That deck's all rotted out, so we already have an approved building permit for the deck, but because the gazebo's detached, we had to
Gotcha.
get permission to rebuild it. But that's exactly what we're doing.
All right, great. Any other questions? Open this to the public for comment. Close the public hearing and bring it back for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion.
Thank you.
In regards to the appeal at 1685 Keller Lane for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as submitted based on information presented. The applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-76 standards because the use of this accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood, as one of them is going to be a replacement for something that was already existing, and many people have these type of structures in their backyard. If approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to the installation of these gazebos. The one was already pre-existing, and I saw some evergreen plantings, so I'm not going to require additional evergreen plantings at this time.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you.
Calling item 18, 208 North Berkshire.
Hello, Danny Jones, 208 North Berkshire, petitioning for a replacement gate. So that's the style of the new gate. It's going to go in front of the 2 piers that are at the front of the driveway there.
It's just a replacement?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? Open this to the public. Close the public, bring it back for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion. With regard to the appeal at 208 North Berkshire Road, the dimensional variance required for the driveway gate in front of a yard, I move that the appeal be approved as requested based on the information presented. The applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the fact that this is essentially a replacement, and preventing it from happening would, prevent him from using reasonable use of the property. This is no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by reason that it is a replacement. Unique circumstances with the property have been demonstrated given the fact that, this is how it is currently set up and it is an existing plan and therefore is not self-created. So, if approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits to be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. And there's an additional evergreens plantings clause, but I'm not going to include that.
Support.
Yeah, we need to add a hold harmless on it, on this.
Oh, yeah.
We include a hold harmless would be fine.
So I have a motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Item 19, 1356 Kirkway.
Daryl Toby from Albufena Gardens on behalf of the homeowner at 1356 Kirkway, asking for permission request approved for a spa located in the back of the property. The location will be actually below grade on one side of the property, one side of the patio, so it'll be not visible at all to the property to the north. On the property to the south, huge buffer of natural buffer that would also not be visible from that neighbor as well. As far as from the lake, it'd be very impossible to see that as well, based on the distance and also the new pool that was just put in. The position of the spa was noted on the pool submittal permits, but wasn't caught as far as we thought was approved at that time, and so when we put in for electrical application, that's when we realized it needed additional approval. And we are not asking for a sports court permit at this time. At this time, by the way.
Oh, don't come back.
Can't promise.
Any other questions from the board? I think the staff mentioned there was a brick wall, and this, is this the one that had the?
No, that's the
Oh,
next
that's the
one.
next one, I'm sorry.
Forced.
Open this to the public then. Close the public hearing, bring it back.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Okay, with regard to the permission request for the 10-foot by 10-foot by 4-foot tall hot tub located in the rear yard of 1356 Kirkway Road, I move the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with the section 42(7-6) standards because the location and use of the accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood, given the fact that this is a very common accessory structure. And also, if approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. And unless the board disagrees with me, I don't see a need for any additional evergreen planting.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request is granted.
I also appreciate the evergreen screen because I hear arborvitae way too much in these meetings. I wish I sold arborvitae to every person that.
Oh, I know.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, calling the next one that I preempted, 1925 Forest Lane.
Let's see the applicant here.
Is the applicant ready?
It's not here.
How would you want to miss this meeting? That doesn't make sense, yeah.
That's the thing to do on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What should
We
we?
need to serve refreshments, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
I guess I can just make a comment that this was, there was a fence that was previously approved in the secondary frontage, and then a brick wall was installed, so, just giving a little bit of history, the brick wall is existing, and because it's in the secondary frontage, it necessitates a dimensional variance. Then you can see there is the existing wall in this photograph. So it would be up to the board whether or not they want to make any action this evening.
All right. I don't know if he was supposed to screen it, it's sort of, I don't know if we let,
Because it's screened here, but it's also screened from 14 Mile either.
right. So that was my only. So he's not here to hear what he needs to do to screen it.
Yeah, it's hard, because he did put a 4-foot brick wall instead of a fence, so in the same family, still needs screening.
Right.
And he doesn't have the screening, so it's
No.
just,
So would we be able to just communicate that to him? You need to put more screening in?
Well, if the board was going to make a motion this evening, then that would be within the motion.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, is I think we can do that. I mean, it's not,
as long as the board is, I'll make a request.
yeah.
Just open, close the public hearing.
Oh, yeah, you gotta do.
Okay, I'll open the public hearing. I would like to talk about the wall or the screen or this, anything else. All right, close the public hearing. Let's have a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for 1925 Forest Lane. In regards to for the accessory structure, which is referring to the 4-foot-high brick wall within the secondary frontage, I move the request be approved as amended by this board. Based on the information presented, the applicant's documentation did demonstrate compliance of section 42-76 standards because the use of the accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood as we have already approved a fence to be in the secondary frontage. This is in replacement of the fence, which would be a brick wall that matches his home and the style of the home, so architecturally significant and nice. If this motion is approved, all necessary permits must be made within 5 business, right? Yeah, within 5 business days. Additional evergreens plantings will be required for this to be approved at the height of the fence, 365. So that includes both off of Forest and off of 14 Mile, which currently does not. The screening that is provided in the pictures is not adequate. Additional evergreen screening shall be required in order to make this meet. If not, it'll have to be, the application is not approved.
So we basically want it adjacent to the wall for the screening?
Yeah, so he has some screening, he has to enforce more screening than that, and their additional screening that was not in the plan was along the 14 Mile, which they didn't have any.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I can't congratulate anyone, so good work on the presentation. All right, the next item.
Good evening,
Five, two,
everybody.
six, tell
Richard
you.
Atto, 2150 Franklin in Bloomfield Township. I'm here again for the monument sign at 2527 Telegraph because the monument sign itself was approved many years ago by the ZBA. And due to the fact that tenants request more than one sign, the fact we're not asking for a variance to change it to build the monument sign, but the tenants that require a second name require the variance. So we're very happy to have Verizon have recently moved into the township, and they would like to have their name on the monument sign for the same reasons the other tenants do, because it's irregularly shaped property. We do have a telegraph road address with no telegraph egress and or ingress other than through an easement. And we request approval, and then we'll be back again for one more tenant. So we'll get to see you again for the last tenant, hopefully.
Okay. So open the public hearing for this. Does anyone like to comment on this item? Close the public hearing and have a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
With regard to the appeal for the dimensional variance required for secondary signage, I move that the appeal be approved as presented, as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the fact that this is a tenant change and has been previously approved. There's no injustice to adjoining neighbors by reason that all the tenants in this property have the same situation. Unique circumstances with this property have been demonstrated based upon what I just said, and therefore is not self-created. So, if approved, hang on here. The motion must include application for all necessary permits to be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, your request.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
We'll see you when the next tenant comes in.
One more.
Rick,
Thank you for your patience.
before you start, quick question. Did they sell the house?
We think they've moved.
Okay, but you don't know for sure?
They're in the process of selling it, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
very
not,
interesting.
not totally done yet?
Yeah, we think they, well, we know they bought another house and they've moved, so
Okay.
hopefully that's the end of the saga.
Okay,
And it's
cool.
been a saga, so.
Cool.
I'm sure there's a long
There's a
litigated,
really
long
long
litigated
Yeah. and-
story behind that exchange. But we will.
Carol and I have been fighting the good side of the fight together for years, so. Richard Rassel on behalf of Plum Market for the Bloomfield location at Lasser and Maple. I'm at 380 North Old Woodward in Birmingham with Williams, Schreiner, and Plunkett. I'd like to introduce Alex Soroki, the project architect from the Soroki Architecture Firm, Paul Dunslager from Plum Market. Very briefly, I will just hit the high points of our October 9th letter, which I know you've read. This is actually a fairly unique request in that this board, in March of this year, granted us a variance to put a second wall sign up that would allow us to advertise Plum Market for directional signage at the location, which took over the space that was vacated by Rite Aid in connection with its bankruptcy, et cetera. And so we've added 10,000 square feet. At that time, the board approved the second sign for Plum Market. The main Plum Market sign, however, retained the words liquor, and it retained the words Village Pharmacy. So based on some operational experience, since this has all been developed, the team at Plum Market determined that for directional purposes, we would actually ask the board to reduce the overall square footage of the signage variance that was granted in March of this year, and to allow us to simply place Village Pharmacy in the center according to the plans. And it doesn't show it great on this. Well, you can see it. It's hard for me to see because my eyes are terrible from distance. But you'll note that what we're proposing is the small Plum Market sign to the east. The middle sign will say Village Pharmacy. The main large placard sign will say Plum Market, and we'll eliminate all reference to the word liquor. So the overall square footage of the signage is reduced. We did go to the Design Review Board in September, and the Design Review Board thought this was a good idea. This is an important tenant in this center, which drives business, of course, to all the tenants in this center. We're the anchor tenant. We're 52% of the square footage. The signage is in proportion to the other tenants, and there's no objection. So we appreciate any questions that you have. We think we can answer all of them, and if you have any, otherwise we'd ask that our variance be granted. We'd be allowed a third sign with a net reduction in overall square footage, but the third sign as proposed. Thank you.
A lot of great logic behind that, Rick. And I remember when we gave you the variance for the last one, I think it was the same situation. You were the last one. It was a long meeting, so you're really getting a lot of points for sympathy for that. So even though the quality of your presentation was outstanding, on top of that, you kind of get the last person thing, doesn't it?
Well, you get to hear a lot of very interesting requests, and I always appreciate local government in effect. I think it's fascinating, to be honest with you.
We like that.
Well, thank you.
You gonna put it in the pickleball?
All right, so let's open the
No
public.
no pickleball being proposed.
Officer, would you like to say anything about the sign or anything? You're good? All right, you did a great job tonight. Thank you. Tried to. All right, so we'll close the public hearing and have a motion. Enough of the goofiness.
Mr. Chairman, I'd love to make a motion.
Yep.
In regards to the appeal at 3675 West Maple Road for the variance for the third sign, I move the variance be approved as requested based on the information presented. The applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome because of the, again, same thing like last time, the elongated shape of it, as well as the fact that guiding customers to that new area of your business, this sign will help with that. There is no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by the reason of you control 52% of the square footage of this center, so that will not have a problem, and it is in the same sizing as the other neighbors. Unique circumstances of this property have been demonstrated given the fact that, again, you took on another place, which again had old signs on it, so you're trying to change consumer habits for the area, as well as removing certain buzzwords from their one sign in order to make it more streamlined and look architecturally nice and significant. This is not self-created from the fact that you are actually reducing the overall square footage of these signs. If approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your patience.
Thank you for your patience. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
We need one new business item. if I
Oh,
may
new
add.
business item, okay.
So, several applications and applicants have mentioned this. We, as a board, have mentioned this. do we want to try to forward something on to the Township Board of Trustees to talk about sports courts or their intent? Because we kind of are the recommending body to what kind of things we want them to see or look at and have us look into. So do we as a board think that would be a good idea? Because
Absolutely.
Yes, well, because during, I did, there is litigation over pickleball. There is some literature that says there are health effects. I think there's also contrary, information on it, but I'd actually like to read some of those cases, but I do think we need to address it in a broader manner than in the way we're doing it.
Because right now, like you said, they're individualistic, some are good, some have different issues, and I wholeheartedly believe that, but allowing more parameters associated with what the board's saying, what holistically the township wants, and kind of give us more guidance versus.
But here's the reality
I think
of
our
it.
department would appreciate some direction, so I appreciate Chris opening that up for discussion. So I would look forward to hearing any recommendations on behalf of either this board or township board in terms of how we want to address sports courts.
We're seeing more and more.
I mean,
But-
it seems to me that, these are coming in all the time. Don't really love them, but if you came up with some regulations where we permitted a certain size, okay? And in a certain location with certain setbacks, certain screening, if they met that, then they didn't come to us. Then we'd only get the ones that wanted to be bigger or be in a setback or something like that, and it would be easier for us to say, no.
So, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot since our conversation on this, Carol, is while I like that so it doesn't come before us, one part of the plan that is interesting is every time they go for one of these, the township has to notice their neighbors that this is going in. If I follow, like the similar lady here, if I follow the building envelope, I don't have to notice any of my neighbors. I get to do whatever I want. I can have my side entry garage and make my neighbor upset, but that is my property rights. So if we're worried about the impact to the neighborhood, this board helps by noticing neighbors about these accessory structures.
But, it's, for example, we don't notice pools, okay? And people can put in pools and they can have a number of kids and they have all their friends over every day and it can be much louder than a pickleball court, and that's just the way it is, right? So, I mean, these are becoming things that people want in their yard, and,
My only concern, in thinking of what Chris is saying, I'm very concerned about runoff. I really am, because that is something that I am seeing more and more and more. And, I mean,
well, that's something we had brought up too, is the concept of us regulating impervious surface.
Right, how much you
And,
can
and
have.
you can't go over that coverage, and
Right.
that's one way we could protect against these potential
Bigger.
things being added that are gonna cause, drainage to neighboring property. So I think
Especially
that a
small
lot of
lots.
pieces could be put together to sort of address all these items.
Yeah, my other concern is that, we all feel blessed living in this township because we've got all these natural resources and wide open spaces and stuff like that, but we're also largely, the largest part of the population could fund a pickleball court in their yard if they wanted to. Do we want to be a community of nothing but pickleball courts all over the place because our residents have means? So I think this has got to be a strategic decision on the part of the township. Like, what do we want this place to look like? Because whatever we want it to look like, we've got to put the fence
In the
lines in
strategic
right
plan,
now.
we need more parks.
I know,
So
yeah.
people put the courts in.
Though look, this pickleball's a fad.
it is.
Okay,
And then you'd be
at
left
some
with a
point it's gonna-
court.
Remember
That's what
when
I'm
everybody
thinking
put in
about. Yeah,
tennis
long-term.
courts, and then I
Long-term.
see
All
all
these
these people that
courts.
pulled their tennis
All
courts
these
out.
Yeah.
Especially
So,
when they get
Well,
exactly,
paddleball
so-
was, there was a whole, or
Yeah,
racquetball
there's
courts,
just, people, it's kind of like a stage right now, and
I wish there was
I
a
don't
limit
know.
on the number of them, or,
The
it
size.
does have
you
to
can't
stop.
get them if your neighbor has one already.
No,
I know that's
no.
hard
But-
to do.
You know you
But-
can't do that.
But here's the other reality, is they have kits that, you can just, because I did this when we had an Airbnb in South Haven, you can just set it up right on your driveway. There's nets that
Right.
you can just, so,
Right, yeah.
you don't,
Yeah, whole court.
so you have all these alleged health concerns about the noise, you can set it up anywhere.
My neighbor they play on their driveway
Yeah.
every day,
Yeah, I'm just saying that,
okay? And it's right there next to me.
yeah.
That's why my
And
concern
how does
is.
that?
But that's their property
See,
rights.
I don't-
Yeah.
think you're
I
gonna
mean,
be
but
able.
whatever, I got used to it, okay? I mean, you just sort of start you tune it out.
Well, that's my point is that I don't think you're gonna be able to prevent or limit the number, because we have these large lots.
Well, we've
We-
already got
we-
basketball courts, and
We
you
have
can
people with
throw the net out.
needs, and people are spending more recreational time at home.
Unless well,
So my
these-
concern is
I don't know if
runoff. What are we gonna do? How are we
Yeah.
gonna protect people from flooding properties?
So maybe looking into, as part of it, is requiring a civil engineer to come up with it. Part of it is, I understand we have water runoff, but if we put a civil engineer as part of it, which I understand is another step for them associated with financial, again, as a builder, I don't love that. It
Sure.
also is my liability, right? He makes sure I get everything done, he makes sure my water mitigation is taken care of, he helps that. So as part of the process and the permitting process, right now, we don't require that, we require a plan.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be stamped by an engineer.
Sure.
That might be one to help with Joslyn and some of the other concerns.
Sure.
And then we also have a noise ordinance for generators. We talked about that's the reason we have them in a certain place, because of the worry of noise pollution to their neighbors and meeting that ordinance. Maybe that's one of the things we talk about is, sports courts have to be further than 16 feet away.
Sure.
Or if they're
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
25 feet and less, you are required to put in soundproofing or noise mitigation
Sure.
services as part of your plan.
Yeah.
Because they do have the means and the want.
Right.
And we also want people to have, they have property rights.
Yeah.
I want people to enjoy their property, and if we don't have parks, which we're working on, thank you, Brian, for bringing that up, they don't have parks, which is true, and he makes a good point. So where are these people gonna do recreation with their kids? So I want them to be able to do that without affecting their neighbors, without
See, right now,
affecting
the
the
noise
water.
ordinance doesn't address it, because it's not the decibel level that's the problem.
I think going to the
Joint
noise ordinance
property
is
is
probably
both.
not something I would advise.
The
The
problem
noise
with the
ordinance,
noise ordinance is never gonna be upheld in court.
yeah, the noise ordinances, as we've learned more and more, and Carol is touching
Yeah.
upon this right now, that's the real challenge.
Yeah.
I'm listening, taking it all in, what everybody's saying, and I do think, I do support the idea of them still coming to the zoning board.
Yeah, I think they should.
But I also think, I know, but I think that there could be conditions in place where it would be they could be more in favor, like a permission request if they had stronger setbacks, if they were
Well,
closer
maybe
to the
they can-
home, if they
Maybe they
were,
can only ask for the permission request if they meet certain criteria.
that's what I'm saying.
And then everything else will be dimensional.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. That's kind of the line I'm thinking of, but, I do think the impervious surface is kind of another
That's a big,
We have to
item.
look at that.
And we did talk about that at the planning commission a
'Cause you
couple
showed
years
me
ago,
an
but now
aerial
may be a good time, yeah. There-
today.
Yeah, the one on, we were so there was the one on Snowshoe, if you looked at the aerial compared to what's around it, you can see it was practically covered with
a whole lot
impervious.
was.
Right.
So I think that this is probably a two-pronged
Right.
approach. But I appreciate the input, and I do know that there'll be continued conversations. I know, our township supervisor also, has some interest in kind of seeing, us look at this a little more closely. So I'm getting input and direction from various bodies, so I appreciate that. And I will run with that, our department can run with that and kind of take some input, maybe a study session, something that we can kind of get together and kind of think about how we can address this so that the zoning board is not tasked with some very challenging decisions.
You know, another
About
thing,
these.
maybe you think about requiring a minimum lot size to even consider it. I mean, you know, like we do with some uses. I mean, there's a number of different things you could come up with that would narrow it down. Because you don't want everyone to put one in their yard.
Yeah, you really, that's, I mean,
You don't, but-
that's true.
Yeah, you don't, but I don't know.
So right now, they're being treated like a permission request, similar to like a shed.
Yes.
Or a hot tub, or a brick wall, or a fence, or whatever. And clearly, the impact of a
Is
sports
different.
court versus those accessory structures
Quite different.
is quite different. So I'm getting the input, I'm open, we're all open always to input and discussion, so I look forward to moving forward and hopefully making some changes in the future.
So
That
what's the
would be
next step
great.
then?
Do we need to adjourn?
Is it gonna go to the, because you asked, so you.
Yeah, I just,
I probably would recommend that the township board give me some direction in terms of how they want me to approach this. And Chris being a trustee, I think that that's something that he's probably gonna bring up at the board level.
yeah, so what I will do is then, as my homework is I'll request it be on some of our business in either the next couple meetings, and see if I can get on the agenda when Andrea can be there, so we can
Sure.
speak to this and talk about how this is an issue that the ZBA is facing, and we're getting residents on both sides that want this in their backyard, and then we have a significant amount of residents that are saying how this is impacting them. So how are we gonna limit it? Here are some suggestions that the board has talked about.
Yes.
Impervious surface ordinance, water runoff done by an engineer to limit that. Here are some things, increasing the setbacks for this particular structure. So, and then see what the board says.
The one thing I don't want to do is get between regulating different sports on sports courts, because then we run into
Correct.
an ordinance
Well, and here's the thing,
nightmare.
you can-
Where you're not, yeah,
How
that's
you
so,
gonna enforce
a
that?
sports court has to be, in my
You
opinion, a
gotta
sports
ban
court
it
should be a sports
forever.
court.
It's a
And then you
sports
wanna
court,
do that,
anything
can't do
that
that
you
either.
wanted. But I think the same things would apply,
Correct,
you know,
so,
Someone could change their mind, or
I mean,
someone,
And a new
someone
homeowner,
moves. Yeah.
a new homeowner, right, with different expectations, so.
Yeah, there's no, and look at all the courts we've already approved.
Oh, we got
All
like 3 or
those
4
are,
tonight.
all those are, you know,
I'm telling you,
potential.
they're growing too, and I
Pickleball.
don't like it.
Need the
And
size
they're
of it.
not a fan of it, but.
So I think we have some tools that we can put in place.
yes, absolutely.
My homework will be to get the board to provide either some direction or kind of make a stance. And then it can come to us to help kind of guide that type of
Yeah, I
ordinance.
think a study group would be good.
Yeah, I think a study session would
If
be
it
good.
gets to something like that.
Yep. Well, thank you.
All right, so now do we have a motion to adjourn?
Support.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. And I'm sure no one's opposed, so good night.